Hello, and thank you for tuning in once again. This is Kev, and this is Black Men Being Brutally Honest. First off, I'd like to tell you as you come to this broadcast, if you will, please hit that like button. If you're first time here, please go below the screen and hit the subscribe button. Be mindful of the scroll ticker across the bottom of the screen, which reinforces like, share, subscribe. My Cash App is in that scroll ticker also. Fair use on any content that I didn't create, and this is for edutainment purposes only. I also use harsh language, and long live the habitual line steppers. You guys are great from week to week, and thank you for supporting me throughout my entire tenure here on YouTube. You guys are the greatest. But yeah, just wanted to touch on a few things that I've been thinking about, and this is what I always do. Touch on things that I think about as far as be coming to this platform. Hybrid, what's going on, man? What's going on? Yeah, the subject matter for tonight is being pro-black even pro-black. And let me explain a few things about that one particular thing. Um, I don't know. I guess growing up, it was kind of fun to be pro-black. Let me explain because I was learning all about the meaning of such, learning our history and the shocking details that went along with that history. Long Tone Son, what's going on? Um, yeah, it was. Imagine a little kid. Imagine being a little black kid in Southern Alabama that would, when you learn your history, you learned about the brutality of being in this great country that we call America. It was not fun for me to hear, but it was very interesting to say the least. Um, yeah, Connie Chong Black, what's going on? It was like I said, it was looking at old photos, listening to the various people who made a difference uh, in all of our lives and shaped our lives into what they are today. Yeah, it was very interesting for me to hear certain things like if it wasn't for a black man, we wouldn't be doing traffic the way we would be doing it, as far as the red light, green light, or um, the the invention of open heart surgery. We made many useful contributions to the American way of life, but boy, did we have to go through many things in order to get there. Southeast Dusty, what's going on? Um, and as I reflect on our history, I'm also in the present day becoming somewhat disappointed as to where we ended up as far as that history here in 2022. Um, we've gone from proud to being black to I don't know, a bunch of virtue signaling, a bunch of meaningless crap that that a lot of people like to say that we're black. I mean, as a hustle, as a selling point, but nothing real tangible comes up from it. Not, at least not anymore. Um, yeah. let's see if we can come up with something like, okay, there's like real actual pro-blackness and whatever this bullshit is that we're going through today. But before I get into that, let me go ahead and reinforce with you guys that as you walk into this broadcast, please go ahead and hit that like button. Um, yeah, and I got a dislike last night, after I went off the air. So let me go ahead and get that one out the way. Uh, let's see, where is it? Where is it? There it is.
Now I'm feeling objectified by your male gaze.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't let dislikes get by me. So I mean, seriously, um, we've gone from like proper representation, like Russell Simmons in Def Comedy Jam, if I could use that for a second. And I mean, like, this is really late in our history to, Russell Wilson marrying a single mother, and that being seen as one of the blackest things you can do. Um, Pro-blackness in the present day has really become a joke, and there's I can't really sign up with it anymore. I mean, I still love being black. I wouldn't want to be born any other way. But it's just it's almost as if, you know, because of what we're being exposed to in this day and age, is that it's almost becoming meaningless to be a black person in this day and age. Um, we, I mean, down to the it's almost as if we're just hell bent on being against each other because of our blackness. And it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing. It's like we've gone from proud to being black to uh we've come from that to saying stuff like them niggas, black folks. Just things that were just things that it's almost as if being black these days is become super irritating. Some of us are gonna have to go on social media and uh, see people tomorrow saying that it's no real purpose in celebrating the Fourth of July. And I said I don't really celebrate it. Uh, Last night I just said I just like it as a excuse to pop fireworks. Watch some things blow up, and it's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. Whatever holidays that you decide to celebrate for whatever reason, or whether if you don't want to celebrate the holidays at all, that is squarely your business. But I tell you one thing, I do understand if you do not want to celebrate a holiday, or if you don't want to celebrate the Fourth, because Independence Day did not mean independence for blacks, and that. I mean, and celebrating a holiday like that is pretty far fetched for some people. But due to how serious that we take blackness these days, you might as well just go ahead and celebrate everything. Yeah. So, I mean, Hybrid says black culture is 85% trash at this point. Southeast Dusty says it's burning money. Yeah, pro black seems like it's just a hustle these days. I mean, I like okay, let me just tell you something about growing up. Being black actually kind of meant something. Because what it did was the halfway unity that we had, it put fear into our enemies. And we know what enemy that we're talking about when I say that. Look, however y'all reacted to white folks back in the day, all I remember was back in the 80s, in Alabama, we had them kind of running scared. I mean, we had them really scared to say anything. If we even felt like there was an N word in the area, uh, they faces kind of turned, uh, their faces kind of turned red, and they just kind of held their breath, and they wondered what we were gonna do. I mean, a lot of us, we're scared of white folks these days. But APTV, what's going on, man? Good to see you, brother. But I mean, I'm serious. I mean, I had a father that taught me, whenever I dealt with a white man, um, if I were to introduce myself, made sure that I gave him a really firm handshake and I looked him in the eye, dead in his eye, because that for some reason, Bridget Moulton, what's going on? Good to see you again. Shoot, second night in a row. I guess I did something right the first night. uh, and it was just like it wasn't even about just it wasn't even about intimidation. As far as that went, it was just about respect. I mean, you are gonna respect me, or I will knock you on your ass. He wanted me to say that with each look to a white man, and I do that to this day. Period. I mean, some of you out there who've been brainwashed by the antics of social media may not believe that, but I don't give a fuck. Shoot, introduce me to any one of your white friends. I don't care if he's 7 feet tall. Same thing. I'll give him a firmest handshake that I can give him, and I'll look him right in his fucking eye. And believe me, with 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 um with black people, with black men, especially, same thing. Because I have to do that these days because our respect for each other, for real, has gone downhill. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I believe pro blackness in the present day is a joke. And it's sad for me to say that. I believe it's a joke. I mean, because look who represents that shit when you look at, so when we're talking about social media now, because I'm on social media bringing you this broadcast. We're talking about social media right now. Shoot, you got people like Dr. Umar, you got people like Boyce, and Dr. Umar, he has a couple of traits that I respect about him. But as of late, I don't know what the fuck has been going on with them. Boys, you know the story on that one. And then you got a host of what people like to call hoteps, which, I'm not a huge fan of how the word hotep is being used. I'm not a fan of that at all because the original. Let me tell y'all something. I'm not really for switching the meaning of words. I'm not with that. It's like Hotep comes from a word that means peace. Now Hotep basically means like a mutated version of a pro-black. Basically believing that everything black should just be with each other, black, blackity, black, black. And when used in that sense, no, I can't sign up with it. Yeah. We've gone from a race of people that, instead of speaking about actual unity, um, we start to go into this whole battle of the sexist thing, this what we call this gender war. We got black men who would rather simp than to work toward the greater good. And we have black women who insult each other for working with black men toward the greater good by using terms that were usually racist terms against another black woman who actually wants to show black men respect. And the term I'm talking about is a mammy. And if it wasn't wrong to hit people, I would have to smack some people across the face for even referring to a black woman as a mammy of another black person. That shit is fucking ridiculous. And um, we've gotten away from being on code to just faking it, to just faking being on code. Um, I've said this a couple nights in a row, and I'm gonna say it tonight. Being pro-black isn't all that pro-black anymore. It's not about seeking tangibles, fortifying and solidifying what it means to be black in Western culture. Um, it's about dick policing. It's about policing one's privates. It's about making sure the black man doesn't date outside his race. You know, and the reason why I don't bring up black women in that sense is because we don't police black women like that. We, in Western culture, we still fully accept black women whether they date out or not. And I could give you a few examples of that, including Madam Vice President, which I don't really consider her to be black, but just people just need to be honest with that. It did not matter that she has a white husband. Same thing with the new appointed Supreme Court justice. It only mattered in a few small circles that she was married to a white man. It doesn't. It does that's something that does not follow them around. But if you are a black man that dates and marries out, it follows you around. And we need to be honest about this. We need to be brutally honest. This is the brutally honest channel. So that's what I'm here for. You know, I really, really, really hate what pro black has become. I really do. And and the younger generations aren't exactly all that pro black. And what I can say is I can I can hardly blame them for thinking like this, because what I mean, even though you're born into your skin and there's nothing really you can do about it, even if you can get your skin lightened or whatever, because underneath all of that, you're still going to be black. I mean, you can. I mean, I used to be like, fuck Sammy Sosa too for lightening his skin like that. Because he's always going to be a black man. I used to be, fuck anybody that did not want to retain their blackness. You know, I mean, I give you another example, Lil Kim. I mean, you look at before pictures of Lil Kim and you look at after pictures of Lil Kim, you gotta walk up to Lil Kim and be like, what the fuck were you thinking about? I mean, shit, Lil Kim was perfect. I mean, but the problem is she didn't believe that. So she tried to transform herself into a white person. And anybody that has any criticisms about that, I don't blame you guys at all. I don't blame you guys. To me, if we were going to truly be pro black, we would have done it in more of I was not so much a militant fashion, but we would have done it in a more angry way, I would say. in a more angry way, which means take over of any mentality that is seen as dominating and replace it with what the fuck we want to replace it with as a black person. But it's not about that anymore. Shoot. And here's one thing. I knew I knew that pro blackness was a joke when people, black folks, still called. Oh well. Let me say this. Let me make sure I say this correctly. When black folks started calling me a coon for not liking Joe Biden, I was like, "You got to be fucking kidding me! It's over with." It really is, and I mean, like, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. All right, we got 22 watching. We got 13 likes. So somebody hadn't pressed that like button yet. Please hit that like button. It's for free. It is for free. It is for the algorithm. And, help me get this channel out here, man. More people need to see what's going on over here. Oh, okay. And shout out to JC for the Cash App. I really appreciate it. Says for slapping you 5 on the black hand side. Appreciate that. Cash App is available. Anybody wants to contribute or throw in the pot, you can. Also, the super chat is very active as well. So, anyway, glad you guys are sharing your thoughts in the chat as always. And one thing that I would like for you to know is that I'm glad that you guys, I'm glad that you guys are keeping it professional down there, keeping it intelligent, you know, because I look at, I mean, I lurk some of these channels, and although I can't say all the chats are like that, there's a lot of chats out there that are low vibrational and anywhere from low vibrational to unintelligible. So, you guys really need to give yourselves a pat on the back. And it's not just because that you're over here on this channel watching right now. It's because you guys are putting, you guys are, you guys are saying things that actually are pretty coherent. Connie Chong Black said, Kev, your chat isn't that welcoming, right? Uh, well, I mean, here's the thing. Mm, I promote the environment where people don't have to always agree with each other. I mean, it's like you're offering a devil's advocate approach, so that's gonna get some pushback. And here's what I want you to understand: I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your devil's advocate approach. It's just that if the chat is going to, if they disagree, they disagree, and I mean that it is what it is. Rael, what's going on? Rael says pro-blackism is the fakest ideology ever created for blacks. If it came out the university, it's in indoctrination, and pro-blackism came from the university system. Hmm, that's interesting. That is interesting. All right. I'm gonna open it up in a little bit. Uh, open it up in a little bit. So let's see. All right. Hybrid catastrophic impact X83rd Power says, I agree with a great percentage of what Dr. Umar emphasizes, but the pandering of B dubs and calling them queens is ridiculous. Um, Says dude was going at Bronny because his white prom date. There was grown ass women criticizing Bronny James as if these B dubs were pedophiles. Dude is 17, so what the fuck? So the fuck what? Oh, yeah, that's what I said. Like, shit, it's just dick policing at this point. I mean, Dr. Umar, then you had guys like the amazing Lucas who, for some reason, he does it, but he fancies himself a conservative. And I'm not saying like you can't be, I'm not saying some dumb shit like you can't be pro black and be a conservative because, you know, maybe conservatism is something that black people need to try because liberalism that only gets us so far. I mean, if that far at all. All liberalism ever does is like symbolism. So, you know, but let me look at these comments. Longo Savage, what's going on? Long live. Rael says San Francisco State has the first Black Studies program funded by private money and is now the political philosophy of the Democratic Party. Fake as fuck. Then Hybrid goes around and said there's a white dude on social media that was criticizing black men, saying he doesn't like how black men treat black women. Sound like the simp of all simps. Yeah, that might be creepy coin you're talking about. And I mean, like, treat them like what? Treat them like what? I mean, these, as far as I can tell, these are words on the internet, and everyone has a right to respond to words on the internet. And as far as B dubs being given the freedom of speech, um, every time they're given a platform, they kind of use it to disparage us. And, you know, when people say stuff like that, they're going to have to be more specific. All of the raggedy ass virtue signaling, that's not going to work with me. What exactly are brothers saying that you don't like? And then, even with white dudes anyway, them motherfuckers need to stay in their goddamn lane. Seriously, like stay out of our fucking business. I mean, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's what I don't see brothers doing. I don't see he, I don't see brothers going to the white woman that's disparaging sisters and praising her for it. I don't see that. And if someone is telling you that's going on, it's a goddamn lie. Connie Chom Black. So you can say whatever you want about a black woman. The fact is, a white woman you love raising a racist white man that hates you so much. But carry on. Okay, now that's I'm gonna tell you right now that's a tired little defense because the motherfucker also has a father. He also has a father. You know, people sit up there and talk about, and I tried to emphasize this on the last time I did something on Emmett Till, which I might have to do something again. Um, Everyone always defaults to Carolyn Bryant, Carolyn Bryant, Carolyn Bryant. And I do agree, Carolyn Bryant should be in a prison somewhere. She should be. But one thing I never hear black people talk about is Roy Bryant. I don't give a fuck about Roy Bryant's mom. Roy Bryant's mom didn't drag Emmett Till to that river and tie a fucking air conditioner engine around his fucking face and throw him in the river. I'm sorry. Carolyn Bryant lied, but it was white men that killed Emmett Till. It was white men that did that. No, we don't love white women. I mean, I don't. I mean, I can't tell the rest of the brothers what to do, but if you can't sit there and talk about black men's love for white women when black women publicly publicly say how much they love white men and try to push this false power dynamic with you know with white men being far more powerful and conquering the black man. So you know, whatever. Let's see. Cortez Smith is I disagree, Kev, and like I said, you're free to do that. I'm listening. What's going on? I'm going on. For a kid, we know the mother guides the child, the father enforces it, cut it. I mean, you can take as many swipes and as many digs at that, but see, okay, let me put it to you. Let me put it to you like this. Okay, so why is it that you're saying that about white people, but every time we bring up all these thugs and what we like to call pookies, which people don't like the Pookie and Ray Ray argument, but I'm just using it as context. Every time we say, why has the black child faltered? The first thing that someone like you would say is, what happened to the father? Why isn't the father there? The father, the father, the father. So, you got to be consistent. Y'all have to be consistent. Rogan's son, what's going on? What's going on, Greg? Oh, that's what you disagree with. You don't think Carolyn should be in jail? Um, why is that? I mean, it was her lie that got Emmett Till killed. Um, she's a conspiracy. She plotted a conspiracy to murder Emmett Till. So and people get thrown in jail for shit like that quite often. You said I think Carolyn should be in the grave. Well, she's still alive. She's still alive. Who raised you, boy? What's going on? what is up? Let me drop this link. Let me drop this link. Now, I will say this. I will say this. I am a advocate for true pro-blackness, and when it shows back up, I will certainly let you guys know. I will certainly. Oh, Roguish Son, I see you in the chat down there. Cortez Smith says he says something that he looks like I agree with. He said women who do things as drastic as lie about grape should not be allowed to walk in public. Yeah, I mean lying about things like that could definitely ruin a man's life. It could ruin anyone's life, especially a man. Long tone son are going to ignore the movie Something New and how black women love that movie. Something New. I probably need to check that movie out, but I'm gonna tell y'all something, and this is why I don't watch certain content creators. There's only so much black man hate that I can take, and let's see. Okay, we got somebody new up here.
Hey, what's up, Kev? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All
Let me,
right, perfect. Yeah, I was just curious. What's your analysis on a lot of these, pro-blacks who say that they're Indians or that they're Moors or that they're Hebrew Israelites? For my analysis from the last, few years, a lot of these so-called pro-blacks aren't even trying to call themselves black today. They've come up with a whole new label to identify themselves. What's your thoughts on that?
You talking about POC?
No. I'm not talking about the POC designation. Like I said, I'm mentioning like a Hebrew Israelite or a Moor or a indigenous Aboriginal. You know, those kind of those terms.
I don't know. I think it's an attempt to be special. I believe that's what it is. Um, it's trying to find some way to say something besides being black.
Right. But
Go ahead, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead. Your show. Sorry.
No, I'm not a huge fan of those titles and those labels, and they always go with certain beliefs, systems that are kind of odd and suspect to me, like the Hebrew Israelites, and a lot of the stuff that they talk about. But I also, before I do speak on certain designations, I one thing that I do is I try to search for an understanding so I won't sound ignorant when I talk about these people. But at the same time, it's some of it's unnecessary. Some of it's unnecessary. If it's based on certain religions, then like I said, I can respect it, but I don't have to sign up with it.
Right, exactly. The reason why I mentioned that because a lot of those groups, say like the Aboriginals or more Hebrew Israelite, those specifically, they're all intertwined within kind of the pro-black sectors and the consciousness type of stuff. But they're always trying to convince people that like, oh, our true identity, we're the Aboriginals, we're copper colored. I've heard a lady call up on the Black Authorities channel, essentially trying to make that case. He cut her off, obviously, but she was basically saying, we're not black, we're copper colored Indians. So a lot of weird shit like that, right?
Uh, uh, I do believe that the westernized black, we have lost our identity, but I don't think that we should be so quick as to slap a label on it. Is the copper colored Indian? I wouldn't accept that either.
It's pretty goofy. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty goofy. Yeah.
Okay. But you said mulatto vanguard. Am I correct in saying that you have a white parent and a black parent, or what's going on with that?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Oh, okay. All right. So you identify with mulatto as a way to respect both your white parent and your black parent.
Yes, sir. I respect both of the heritages. I come to understanding of that. I've gained a lot from both, and I acknowledge that, and I'm appreciative of that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because one thing that I do say is, if you got a parent of two different races, you can't. I mean, and one of them is black. You can't deny the other part. If you want to be black or considered black, that is your choice. But I got respect for you in saying that you can acknowledge both your parents. If you don't mind me asking, which one is the white parent?
Oh, my mother.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of more pro black man, right? I'm in the black manosphere, because of my father, my upbringing, stuff like that, plus more male centered. Also, too, as well, what I noticed, which a lot of you've noticed, that's why we're over here, is a lot of the pro black stuff is gynocentric in nature, right? It
Oh
serves the
yeah.
woman, the goddess complex type of situation. So I'm more male centered, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, Queen Mother, Black Woman is God, and really is it really promotes a one way aggression against black men. Is as if you know they can say what the fuck they want, no matter how disparaging it is, and it goes to the point where almost we can't respond, to the point where we can't even promote ourselves. It's always got to be for them, for them, for them, and that's not really how things work. I mean, you can be loving of the black woman without disparaging yourself, I would say.
Yeah, trying to be like a simp servant, per se. The thing,
Yeah. Very anti simp over here. But
yeah, yeah.
Rogish, are you working?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to get my headphones right so I don't have no agent ass echo in the background or something.
but you sound just fine, sir, from what I
All right,
can.
that's what's up.
Yeah. So what's going on, man?
Shit, peace to the weekend warrior. Long live the eventual line steppers. Hope everybody
Long
doing quite well.
live, long live.
Sir,
So what are your thoughts, sir?
you know what? That's one of the questions that you ask yourself participating in the pro-black community. Um, it really it seems like it's reactionary. And granted, so I get it. I get why it's reactionary because the pressure of white inferiority being portrayed through a false superiority is quite a deep pressure. But the thing is, you should want to do it for the sake of your people and to your people, not to say fuck whitey. And that seems like how most like I got a vendetta against these motherfuckers, but it ain't only just them, right? I got a vendetta against them, their allies, whoever to ride with them, whatever it is, right? Color don't mean a motherfucking thing. It's all about what the value of my people's been unto you and your dealings or whatever the fuck. So,
Yeah.
but for the pro-blacks, it seemed like it's largely reactionary. That's why it takes on, as Dr. Amos Wilson said, a feel-good type of historical reverence with it. It's mainly about throwing some worth in the face of the United States. As if they
Okay.
give a damn.
Just as like me because I'm black, and just please like me. That kind of deal.
I mean, look. I think I'm telling you. I think personally, I think that is one of the deepest, like chronic mental illnesses that we suffer from. Chronic pilgrim acceptance syndrome, dog. Is we don't even look into that. We don't understand what it could be like being imprinted onto a people. With 400, 500 years of trauma or some shit ongoing. So the longest that we put that shit out our mind and we try to lie to ourselves and not like that becoming a success in the framework of how the system says you could be a success is enough. It's some bullshit, dog. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a human thing and it's a tribal thing. I think niggas just really want to be good citizens and be left the fuck alone. They don't mind who rule them.
Rule. Now, rule is kind of a strong word. Now, I don't know if I'm comfortable with being ruled.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but Mulatto Vanguard, he put something in the chat that's very interesting. He said you're literally a created people.
The thing
Uh,
is, I
Yeah.
like I like BGS's analysis with the breeding farms, etc., and essentially how that whole process works. And you definitely see that, like, because gaining white acceptance is essentially what most people that I see want, right? They don't really want respect or power in the society, the competitive capitalist society. They just want to be acceptable to white people. I'm 33 years old, and that's my general analysis from kind of traveling this country and stuff like that.
yeah, white acceptance. That's something that is really hard for me to swallow. I mean, and I do understand that as a citizen of this so-called quote unquote great country, that I have to live amongst people that don't look like me. But at the same time, it kind of sickens me when when people they get mad and they get sad and they get surprised that instead of taking pride in ourselves as a people, they want to get all upset and heartbroken when
Yeah.
another group of people don't like us.
Facts. That's right.
Yeah, and my thing is, I've gotten over that. I mean, if they're gonna like each other more than they like me, then so be it. Like, is not something
But
that
what's
is
in it?
real. Say what?
What what's in it? What is in their acceptance that black people think is there that they want to acknowledge that they think is there?
Hmm. I don't know. I sometimes I believe that uh, when
That's how you
I
know it's
see
working.
Yeah, when I see something
Yeah.
like that, I don't believe that a lot of black people who do that believe that being black is good enough. One thing that I would like to see out of our people is, okay, the belief that being black is good enough. And it just, when I see that, it just kind of like, damn, dude, you really want you really want a people who have been very destructive to us to like you.
And
That's the important thing.
look, the weird part is when integration occurred or desegregation occurred, whatever they want to call that bullshit. Um, how there wasn't that much of a waiting period on behalf of black people.
Mm.
You would have thought that there would have been at least 3 to 4, 5, not 10 years that passed before niggas like, all right, let's try. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you've been acknowledging your history the entire time. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know niggas don't acknowledge their history. Niggas don't even acknowledge reality, dog. The world's best motherfucking slaves, cuz. The created people, right? Well,
Escapism.
this is the sad part. Perhaps that slavery process actually did erode the majority of motherfuckers' humanity.
Mm.
Perhaps. And the humanity that we're trying to get the people to tap into is actually just the potential of it being there, as opposed to the fucking the sustenance, which looks like it makes up the entirety of the people, seems like slave fucking material. Even the pro-blacks.
Mm. Mm.
And also generally speak, yeah, because I kind of think a lot of the pro-blacks, today it's pretty much just a grift, or you could say like a race hustle, so to speak. I mean, I personally don't see a lot of solutions. I like the galvanizing for reparations, right? But there was a split there with the ADOS and FBA. But there was definitely a push for reparations. Obviously, it's still on the table. But a lot of people I can see is like grifters, so to speak, right? They kind of play into the insecurities of a lot of black people and get them riled up to hate, the dominant society, which you should hate your enemy, right? But either you have to, there's strategy involved, right?
You ain't gotta hate them. It don't take no motherfucking hate for nothing. Hate is
Yeah.
personal, right? I ain't saying hate is wrong. I'm saying hate is personal. Somebody
Well,
want it, then they choose to hate. But you don't
right.
need hate, and this come from a motherfucker that want to ignite everything. You
Yeah,
don't
right.
need you don't need hate. All you need is the correct value inspiration. And then shit'll happen how it happens. But for people think that you gotta hate and yeah, nah, man. You know what I'm saying? It's really just primarily about your people. See, that's why I say inadvertent black supremacists. I'm an inadvertent supremacist. The thing is, when you have, and this is reactionary just as much as pro-black is reactionary, but this is more instrumentally reactionary. The thing is, these motherfuckers claim supreme, all right? So let's let them claim supreme. What does it take to be supreme? It's in the essence. It's not in your effort. And it's not in the effort of supremacy. It's just in a being. You don't put forth the effort to be, right? So it's like if these motherfuckers put forth the effort to be supreme, and then, all right, if black people is the lowest on their economic totem pole, the most motherfucking brainwashed, all right, why do they have to set up their system to prey on a people who pretty much 85 to 90% don't mind being a motherfucking slave? They don't mind the glass ceiling. They don't mind, you know what I'm saying? They don't mind being ruled by these motherfuckers. They don't mind these motherfuckers be the lawmakers and all this shit, right?
Right.
Why
Right.
the fuck do they gotta prey on their poorest sector like that if they're supreme, if we're inferior?
Chipping at the resolve of the ones that want to rise above. So
Okay, but wait a
when
minute.
the no,
As a
okay, go ahead.
motherfucking knower and one filled with life, they don't listen to their motherfucker.
Hey, Rogers, you're borging, you borged a little bit. I would have loved to hear that. Just say it again.
Can you hear me now? Mic check, mic check.
Yeah. You good. You're good. Unless you went out again. Art New
Those
Style, what's going on?
who has connection to the people who could inspire them to do whatever, primarily for their favorite, whatever. Yeah, but the people don't listen to those. The people listen. You know what I'm saying? Their Hollywood has the mind of the people. Their fucking churches got the mind of the people. Their marketing system, their value system, all got the mind of the people. Black people ain't finna just reach no motherfucking uh 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 all encompassing awareness no time soon to overthrow these fucks. But that's the fear that they have, and that's what they execute on such a motherfucking people.
Mm.
Supreme my ass. Wait a minute, you working too hard, Pilgrim.
Yeah. But don't you think that is to keep the mindset of those who fear fresh in order to keep this thing going? Because if they slack up, then that might means that some of us might actually, give rise to another potential great black leader. One that is actually effective this time.
Right. Eh,
Yeah.
I mean, look, it could occur, but more than likely that black leader is going to get absorbed within it's going to get absorbed within the system. Okay, like how most pro-blacks, right? They eventually become either politicians or they start having to hustle the struggle, right? That you got to hustle the struggle. I mean, what the thing is, the whole point is it's awareness, right? Consciousness. You're trying to get your people aware, awoke, better value for themselves, better inner worth. You know what I'm saying? Looking at reality as it is, whatever. Okay. But the thing is, that's not what they want, right? So you invest. Your efforts ain't for nothing. You still existed within the system. You still got to live. You still got to, you know what I'm saying, play the whole fucking matrix game, whatever. So then, all right, well, let me make some money doing what I love. Let me make some money freeing my people, or whatever the fuck, right? But it's like, that it's a thin line for serving your folks in that capacity and becoming an inadvertent hustler, because like that whole hotel shit, right? When ladies say hotel shit, well, that comes with the territory, right? Let's say that comes with the territory. Now you get into it to knowledge of self, get on your Heru shit, right? And you start raising your light. Well, women can see that, and they respond to that very, very intimately. Now, you ain't always gotta fuck, but it's like when she come on the show, as they do, you know what I'm saying? And you young, you ain't turning down nothing but your collar, right? But I was in like 2.5 years, nigga, pussy just coming, and it's like, damn, why the fuck I'm in this place so easy? Oh shit, they, you know what I'm saying, they want to attach to this shit, and it's like, well, I ain't in this for the pussy. I'm glad pussy is coming, but I'm trying to get this cosmic connection ultimately. You know what I mean? Serving the people, all this shit, right? Well, that comes with the territory. When it comes to you serving your people and you want to do something, you don't want to work for the man, you don't want to work for the system, but you don't want to stop your service for the people. Okay, let's put this information in whatever framework we can, and let's not really make some money doing it, but let's sustain ourselves. You got to be able to level up in that. But if the people don't want to level up into a motherfucking nation, it's all for nothing. It's all for nothing. So, you know what I'm saying? It's motherfucking samurai, you motherfucking Ronin without no fucking no lord to serve. You know what I mean?
So we're here stuck asking ourselves, what's the right way? You know what I'm saying? And have we gotten so far away from it to the point where we don't even know what that is anymore?
It comes right back down to the value of the people. Like, what's the reason for getting into it can't just be defense, right? People that get into pro-blackness, and this is the issue that I have pro-blackness. Nothing directly against it, but you have the previous established historical connection of pro-blackness, right? But then you also have black people who didn't operate within that factor of it. So how do they show their pride to themselves with them still being black? You know what I'm saying? Like to people think that pro-blackness means that you're a fucking militant, and it
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, and really with the media construct and what it has done to pro-blackness and militancy, they made militancy seem like it was a joke. Like
Right,
I give you an example, like the show Good Times, the way they propped up Michael Evans to be this super militant, but it was on a
right,
comedy show.
right, right,
Yeah, and it may, and then as you've seen these guys that come on TV that like, and media has had an indelible effect on our people. Like a lot of people don't like to admit that because it makes us seem less intelligent. But I mean, I don't want when I say stuff like this, I don't want our people to be so hard on themselves. It happened. It is what it is. Like, some things were just, some things were sabotaged in
right,
that sense. And I mean,
right,
like in the whole militancy was as the media portrayed it, was a parody of what the Black Panther Party was.
right,
And yeah, and what happens is when you start thinking about forward motion as far as pro blackness, then it's seen as a joke and it's seen as a caricature of what militants actually is. And it's a shame that it turned out that way because, when I was mentioning earlier that, I was, people were telling me I was off code for not liking Joe Biden. I actually had a friend of mine tell me that I was being militantly ignorant. And it's like, first of all, you come up with a new term. It's
God
second,
damn.
saying like, what the fuck, dude? Like, seriously? Well,
God damn.
we got our new stall up here, man. What's going on?
Bam.
What's going on, brother? And what's going on, everybody?
Mm.
Yeah,
bro.
man. What's with peace to y'all? Yeah, I think this whole pro-blackness thing is today's time. It's become the operation behind it has become a flush.
Mm.
If anybody don't understand what I'm saying,
Mm.
we don't talk about the academia side of pro-blackness. Every now and then, people give
Right.
shout outs and stuff like that, but they don't get into the meat and potatoes of what these people were leaving behind. I'm talking about all the way from the 1800s to now. We got people that's still trying to stay in the game, like Michelle Alexander and those type of people. But for the most part, the powers that be figured out how to flush. So you have this flush system, meaning that you're gonna take some degenerates, you're gonna take some racial stereotypes, you're gonna take a lot of the negative things that we consider from Black America back in the day, and give them a voice, give them a platform, make them heard plenty times. And I think they even start this out. If anybody remember, every time there's some kind of shootout, and the guy with the tie and the glasses is standing around, the dude with the wave cap is standing around, and the dude with the plastic cap is standing around. Where which person is going to help report the news of what happened? They're going to go to who? The dude with the plastic cap. I didn't think it. Blah 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 blah. Now that kind of person, all of a sudden, got quote unquote knowledge of self. Right when it was, like when pro blackness was at its peak. I'm talking about like probably the mid '80s, early '90s. Most people were wearing the African medallion and stuff like that, but you had a group of people with the Jerry curls and all that kind of stuff saying, "I ain't with that pro black stuff." Now
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, they're pro black
I
today.
remember that.
Those
I
people,
remember that.
those people that are very negative about pro blackness back then, all of a sudden they're the spokesperson of what pro black is, but they didn't throw away their bad habits. So they're linking their bad habits, whether it's selling A, B, and C, doing all the stereotypes that we don't like, and putting pro black in there. Now the conservative side is like, yeah, that's pro black right there. Yeah, we don't coin that. So when it comes to all
It
these
became a
prophecies,
theme. It became
right?
a theme.
Yeah, so they took that and made that pro-black, knowing that they had the John Henry Clarks. They had, I mean, we still have John, what's his name, Dr. Claude Anderson. They have all these different people today that they want you to ignore, so you can focus on Polite and young Pharaoh and all these people that we don't take serious. So when it's time to really put some real pro-black issues on the table, they say, "Hey, that's your leader right there, the guy that's from YouTube." You know what I mean? So it's it's ingenious. I give it to them. You get it from both sides, and guess what? The hidden hand can do anything they want, and they'll never get caught.
That's an
I mean, but
excellent point.
when it comes to pro-blackness, there is no more of that foundational pro-blackness now.
Yeah, they did a good job. They did a really good. That's why I call it a cleansing process.
Yeah.
Because if you keep showing people, remember that part, and I know y'all saw it in a movie, but when the Malcolm X part, the Malcolm X movie, where Elijah Muhammad brought two glasses to Malcolm and
Yeah.
compared the dirty glass with the clean glass. This is the situation we're in right now. If the glass was clean, it would be boring.
Right.
Now you got to have some pizzazz to it. You got to have Polite with two prostitutes after saying the black woman was God. You got to
It
have
can't be
all
just
these.
water. It got to be sugar water now.
Yeah, you got to be. Yeah, exactly.
Oh
So
shit.
no matter how much we try to put things out there that people really need to hear, they're gonna keep throwing these other people in their face like they're our representative. It's sad, man. I can only exist, but I can't fight them. I can only show them the clean glass, and whoever wants to drink out of that, then I'll congratulate them. But the ones that love that dirty glass, good luck.
Yeah, it's like when there are certain content creators that would rather have like Negatube than Black YouTube. If I'm going in the right direction with that, and making like stereotypes and caricatures reign supreme over the intelligentsia. So I know exactly what you're talking about, Art. I mean, that was a really good observation, which if I'd have thought about it, I would have alluded to myself, because that's a huge major problem. Is it goes back to the media representation of what black is versus what would actually do us some good as blacks. Yeah, but let me give a shout out to the Roger Report. My habitual line stepper brother. Long live my brother, saying that very important phrase. And definitely, if you're over here, likely you know who Roger is. But if you don't, check out his channel. He's on every Monday through Friday morning, and sometimes on the weekend too. So shoot him a sub. But yeah, that was a very good observation, Art. It's and it's a shame, because what that kind of mentality does is it doesn't even allow us to take ourselves seriously. Is one thing that I used to hate hearing growing up, and this is just from people that I knew, is whenever something ratchet would happen, whenever they would get mad, or whenever they start to react, a black person would say something to the effect of, "They made the black come out of me." And I used to hate that, because it was like, okay, in order for us to be black, it has to be negative. It has to be alluding to some type of violence. Like, that's the wrong way of thinking. But of course, I used to get uh, called all kinds of you trying to be white nigga or whatever like that. It is, and it was something that no matter what kind of name that I was being called or whatever, it was just, I stuck to my guns.
Now check this out, man. Even even back then, when hip hop was kind of like on its way up, how did white folks imitate us when it came to hip hop? They always
Oh, it was
puckered their lips,
terrible.
grabbed their nuts, throw signs up. You see what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
was That was their expression of what
Yo,
they thought black was.
yo.
Yeah, the whole yo-yo this, word to your mother, all this stuff. Even to the Backstreet Boys, we got the right stuff, dude. You know, it's we, people. I mean, people love the whole, and I've been saying this on a lot of panels. Where I've been cutting my panel appearances short. I had to go to respectable ones like this one. But the thing is, the thing is, our dysfunction feeds people. I've been saying this for a while. I know some people have been saying it too, but the fact that we're not the way we're supposed to do, or the way we're supposed to be, it puts money in people's pocket. For the quote unquote powers that be, like Rogish was talking about, how we are the minority of the minorities, right? Damn near, um, damn near. I mean, the poorest of the classes, all these different things. But if we're doing well, the powers that be can't sleep at night. Make that make sense. They can't sleep at night. And the thing is, we love them some white people. We can say all kinds of bad stuff to white folks, but I'm still challenging anybody, because I know everybody that's listening in different states could give me something that's been reported on the news that a white dude has been hurt in the hood. That's not a cop.
Wait,
I'm
you
out
cut
here.
out for a little bit. You
But
cut out for a little bit. Repeat your last.
I said I would like to hear something from the news where a white person from the hood, wherever you guys at, because I know everybody's in different states, a white person from the hood got mistreated, handled by some black people, killed, whatever it is, in the hood, that was not a cop.
black
That
people
was,
love white people.
dude. I'm in like Compton, South Central, Watts, all these different. I'm near all these hoods, and I've been asking people, have any white folks have been done really bad? Besides Reginald Denny, I give him Reginald
Yeah,
Denny, but other than that, and
wrong
we
place,
love us
wrong
some, we
time.
love us some white people.
Black
Pro-black
people
people,
love white people.
pro-black people
Yeah.
love white people too, man. I'm gonna keep it real. Pro-black people love white people too.
Okay, so
Hmm.
is it love? Is it love, or is it a distorted attachment? Even if they unacknowledge it, even if it goes unacknowledged. Because we say love generalizing it, right? Because we can't think of no other way to put it. But really, what is that? You know what I'm saying? Besides some slave shit.
I know he's fictional, but does Uncle Ruckus love white people?
Yes, yes, he does.
That should answer your question, good man.
Oh, self-hate.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty
So,
simple. Yeah, it's love. It's pretty simple.
okay,
Yeah,
but wait a minute.
because look, man,
It's self-hate though, right? It's because a lot
yeah,
of okay, so
it's
but
balancing.
are right, right. Okay, so it's a balance of uh chronic slave love for them and self-hate, you know what I'm saying, for us. Um, but even as they may wear the veil of value, right?
So,
Hello?
Mic drop.
so,
Oh, okay.
so,
Sorry
so,
about that.
so what you're saying is, you're saying as far as value is that we don't value ourselves enough, but we only see the legitimacy and the acceptance from whiteness. Or is that what you're saying?
Well, we don't value ourselves adequately.
Right.
Now, whatever, you know what I'm saying, the frequency of it is or whatever, and that's up to the people, but there needs to be an adequate self-value or inner value. But the people already believe that they're already doing that, partaking of, mimicry, what the pilgrims do. So if they have that appetite and that is enough to, what I'm saying, satiate them, how do you get them to change such an appetite when they already feel that they're feeding how they need to be feeding? And even though in clear transparency is self-hate, all that shit, it ain't to them.
Well, here's the thing on that, brother, and I think you probably spoke on this before, and some other people out there. Remember that term, know thyself?
Right.
If you know yourself, are you able to love yourself? If you don't know yourself, are you able to love yourself?
Not likely.
Right. And then also,
But
I
you
know,
can,
I think,
but they can choose a false love to place upon themselves and
yeah,
within
like
themselves.
hair weave, sagging, all that. We got you. But the thing is, remember Bastard of the Party,
Yeah,
the show. Now remember, there was a part where he talked about how they had to get high or drunk to do a drive-by, and you never called the person by their name when you shot them.
yeah. I
Think
got
about
one.
that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
got one. Oh, I got that nigga.
yeah, yeah.
Right. So think about this for a minute. You have to remove the identity of self in order for you to give love to somebody else in the way we function in this country.
Right.
I'm talking, we going from people that black on black crime, people, the coons, everybody has that issue. And I think
Right.
that's the thing that we gotta find our way out of that, because right now we're still trying to prove what we're doing is right. And that
I
kind of
mean, but you
prolongs
can't do that if you take people back to Africa. If you don't have them fully embrace what occurred here in United States, 100%, and they go back to Africa too quickly. I ain't saying don't go there at all, but if they go there too quickly, then they're actually not learning self, because as they try to go over there, they just wear Africa. It's
Well,
not within hearts and souls and spirits and shit. Now, because then people try to take on those certain customs, and I'm not saying that it's not instrumental, but what I think that there's been so much removed of us out of our originality that we actually have to operate off of certain said principles, but created of our own for them to actually take with our people. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, I've been to Ghana, so and I think it's great for spiritual growth because that lets you know your experience here. Because it, for me, walking the path of like enslavement, not just from the dungeons, but there's also other places there where a lot of this stuff happened. And so just being in that path and the presence there, it's good for spiritual growth, right? I cried when I was over there too, because the things you experience here in America, I mean, it kind of started there, on the Gold Coast, right? With the Atlantic slave trade. So I kind of feel like it's good for connecting with yourself in your history, you know? And so you can come back here in America, have a more of a clear mental state, and be well more spiritually equipped to deal with certain stuff here. That's my analysis. I think it's good for spiritual growth.
I would assume that it's good for spiritual growth, but the thing is, it's the trauma here that Black people is running from. The reason why when shit happen every day, and you get some anti-Black shit that occurs, and Black people act like they don't hear it. In this day and age, they act like they don't hear it. They act like it don't affect them. They act like it couldn't have been them. You know what I'm talking about? Like, oh, well, not me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Mm.
I think what it is, niggas is running away from their reality here. And if they do that, I think, yeah, it could be beneficial going over to the motherland. I dig it, right? But if you running from trauma to go to some glory, wait a minute. You know what I'm talking about? Let's get through this trauma first, and then we'll have a much more, I think, ebullient perspective towards going toward the glory. But if you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to say it's cowardice or whatever, but after all these years, okay, let's say this: have just a Black cultural perspective for anyone listening who here from the United States. Have you ever once, when you were younger, as a child, told yourself that this is an evil place?
Yeah, I recognize that during the George Bush shit. I'm 33 years old, so like
Right.
2002, after the 9/11, with the whole war on terror, I realized this place is pretty evil, man. It's a war mongering country. I mean, it is
No,
what it
I'm
is.
talking about from nigga connection, nigga. I'm talking about exclusively Black paradigm, epicenter of reality. Has something occurred within your Black motherfucking reality life to where you declare, you know what, this is an evil fucking place? When you were younger, a lot of people grow out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people grow out of hating police and shit. Yeah, hate them when you're younger. Oh, don't hate them when they're older. Oh, same shit happening. They still doing the same hunting and shit. Whatever. Moving on. You know what I'm saying? Can we be blackly honest to ourselves, or are we just, you know, everybody
Well,
get along?
I understand what you're saying, and I've been noticing, especially I thought it was during the Trump time, but it's still carrying on. The stuff that you're saying is definitely you gotta when you're healing, you gotta go through the right channels in order for you to heal. I think people don't understand it. You gotta acknowledge what's going on, like John Coltrane, Love Supreme. If anybody's
Right.
into jazz, right? If
Mhm.
anybody get that,
Yes, sir.
you have to be able to, like like you were saying, you don't just go straight to Africa. I always talk about, there are some of us that our ancestry landed in Cuba, Puerto Rico, Honduras. All those were slave ports. So Americans were buying slaves from them. Latin America was like Costco for slaves. Okay. So all that Africa, when they started doing the Africa thing, that's when they started having more money to do the whole ships and all that kind of stuff for a short time. But the part that's very key is that when you start acknowledging it, that you can face it head on and make changes, so that you'll be able to, close the wound. But base brother, the stuff that you're saying, that you would be what do you call it? You would be accused as being a victim.
Okay. Well. Okay. Well, what's wrong with being a victim? You don't have to stay a victim. If
Yeah,
you are
because
being victimized, and if you have empirical data where the nation will be like, okay, well, we specifically and purposefully victimize these people, and you're a part of that pool group, all right, claim your victimhood. You don't have to stay there though. Everyone can rise themselves out of their victimhood, but to say that the shit that it didn't occur, you know what I'm saying? That's like, that you can't even really get mad at the accuser no more. You know what I'm saying? If the person don't claim the
you
victimhood,
know what,
you know.
dude, I think we would be the poster child of forgetting everything that happened if fairness was across the board.
Facts.
I
Yeah.
think we would
Oh
be
yeah.
leading the parades like there was no racism. What are you talking about? I can't even spell it. We would be out there and about cheering that whole moniker down. But we're constantly
Exactly.
reminded of what happened and what place that they want us to be in. So it's like, and we talking about all facets, white collar, blue collar, tech, everywhere. It's
Art, you just
always
said it.
something.
You just
What
said
was
it. You just said it. If it was fairness across the board, there would be literally no peep out of black people, right? As these pilgrims were permitted to do whatever gangster mafia shit they want to do with the nation, army, whatever, right? Niggas would have no problem with it.
Mhm.
Well, the thing is, they more than likely those people would not try to usurp white folks out of their power position. But the thing is, that's how these people set up this system to operate with us. So if it's tribal, right? Let's say first it was tribal before we get into the government or something, or what I'm saying, oh, we're citizens and we're old, whatever. Let's look at it before the government was established. You were dealing with particular tribe of people. How is it? What are we utilizing to measure if they're operating still in that tribalism or in this objectivity that they said they're going to project within, what I'm saying, the citizenry?
Mm.
How do
Sorry,
we measure that?
I'm over here multitasking. Well, the only thing that we
Nah,
use to measure is their tools. Whatever tools they give us, that's the lens we use. That's why we have so much division in the so-called black community, because even though we have the same realities, we still take on everybody else's identity to try to separate us from, like you said, the trauma.
yeah.
So we're going to always use the what is it? The powers that be. I try to avoid certain terms, but we always use the powers that be's measuring tools. And we talking about class, we talking about education, we talking about appearances, all those different things in order for you to determine what is and what isn't.
And when you take the perspective of one uh, utilizing their agency to declare their definition of reality upon their life, they look at you like you're crazy. They look at you like you're crazy, like they don't. What do you mean? No, it has to be what they say it is. Why? For what reason?
I have to give a shout out to one of my guests on Friday, Radical Latino. He made a good observation because he was saying that, you know, your average white person would swear they know everything about electronics, video games, all the intricate stuff, right? They know about they're the next Bill Gates, all these
Right.
different things, right? And they discovered stuff that they don't want to admit that black folks discovered, but they discovered all that. But when you talk about racism, they start looking under the chair. What do you mean? I don't, huh? Wait, hey, I thought we were friends. So didn't we just play basketball or something? I'm like, that was a good point, you know, because I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I got buddies, you know, that, and every now and then when that stuff comes up, sometimes they pick my brain and I know where they be trying to go. It's like, oh, wow. You know, it's kind of interesting with that Kyle Rittenhouse case. I said, it sure is. Can you pass the potatoes, please?
Hey, look, they want you to destroy their illusion. Go ahead, destroy their illusion. Shit, look,
I ain't falling for that
I
since
accommodate
OJ.
any pilgrim that want their motherfucking illusion completely deconstructed. Come on up, run up, act
Yeah,
right for
OJ,
everybody.
that
Yeah.
OJ case cost me my job back in the 90s. It sure
I'm
did.
about to say, wait a minute, you got to pick your battles now.
And you know what's crazy?
I was a
I
kid.
didn't even have a position. I just said, well, you know, we got to get all the facts first. You don't think he did it? Well, I can't answer that right now. I'm trying to finish my work. Oh, really? Man, all of a sudden,
Sound
I
like you
can't
got a
say it's that.
troublemaker.
Yeah, I can't say it's that. I'm not sure if it's that, but let's just say I got laid off the week after. So
That's
you
You
tell
gotta wait
me.
till all the facts come out. You could even be objective. Holy shit.
I should have just said, yeah, he's guilty. Can I get paid now? You know, that's what I should have said, but because it's only a job, you know.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
let me shout out Marco Ross real quick for the super chat. Appreciate it. He said we must face this system. Mm.
That ain't finna happen, Marco. That ain't ever finna happen. All right. People think they doing it by March, by marching and
Marching
politics.
and putting a fist
I'm
up
sorry.
and disrupting
The
traffic.
Afro pitch
You know,
statue.
look, the thing is, if the people won't declare unto themselves their worth,
Hey Dre, mute yourself, man. You got a lot of
Oh,
background noise. Yeah, go ahead.
those is
if the
power
people,
tools in the back seat. But go ahead.
if the people won't declare unto themselves their worth, there's no way that the system, those who operate the system, whatever, is ever going to be brought to force to understand it, right? And that's what it has to be. Nobody's saying it has to be lethal force or militant force or nothing like that. It just has to be something that disrupts the current system's flow of your value. You got to fight value for value, but people don't like doing that because then you start disturbing, you know what I'm saying, certain people in certain areas, and then they start closing certain doors. And it's like, oh, well, I liked it up there. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man.
Well, I think art just illustrated something that speaks to what being pro-black is all about. If you live in America and you actually pro-black, it's gonna cost you something. You know, that particular time it cost them a job, and I can see as a young man you don't necessarily understand how that's gonna cost you a job. So yeah, you got to get in a position before you say the stuff like that to the wrong people. You got to make sure that you cool with losing the job first. So
And Roger, I really understood at first. We remember Prince, how we were like, man, why he always with these white women? Why he's always with these white people and all this kind of stuff. And then what happened? What did we find out after he died? This dude gave millions of dollars to the Minute March. This dude, but by like every like within his proximity, all the black students that he knew about that were in high school, he bought instruments for them, anything they needed. Hell, he put money in Spike Lee's Malcolm X movie. This dude paid and donated for damn near every black cause that you can name, but he kept it under wraps. I wonder why.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it ain't good to be pro-black publicly too much. It definitely costs you something. I mean, even with the success of LeBron James, to be the first guy to be an active player to be a billionaire, it's hard to conceptualize how much he's actually lost because he has been vocal on certain things. But I just hate that the way nowadays we give far too many people credit for being pro-black. We give the fakers and the white supremacists credit for being pro-black just because they claim it. And my thing is, I don't like giving them that type of credit. If you're not pro-black, I don't want to give it to you. There's Martin Luther King Jr., what I'm saying, the most famous of them. He still put his life on the line for his people at the end of the day. Like, that's what pro-blacks did.
Before Judge come in, and real quickly, but check out the people they're giving us that's pro-black. Tamika Mallory, Mark Lamont Hill.
She's a gynocrat.
Yeah, look at all them people. Roland Martin, Omar Johnson, even. That's what they're giving. I don't even know if we're picking them, but I think they're giving them to us. Tallahassee Coates,
right?
Those BLM chicks. That's the pro-black, dude. And I'm like, what?
So what's the difference between pro-black and being, for lack of a better term, nepotismatic, if you will? You know what I'm saying?
Break it down.
Well, operating off of nepotism, right? Primarily looking to link benefit to, blackness. Now, that doesn't mean you're pro-black, right? But I think when you hear pro-black, a lot of people project, again, the militancy thing within it. And that has become a theme. This is why they can put it on their actual politicians. Oh, this Republican senator is pro-black. No, the fuck he ain't.
Yeah, like Stacey Abrams or something.
Yeah.
Well, hiring a nigga is nepotism. Pro-black is hiring niggas you don't know.
And they got a bunch of lesbians throwing up the fist.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, Tamika Mallory, man, she's a freaking gynocrat.
Look, LGBT Lives Matter took the whole thing. They stole the flag, they stole the fist, they stole the bold letter, black everything.
Well, we didn't defend that the way we should have. I've said before, and to me, it only makes all the sense in the world. How can a woman be pro-black if she ain't married? How does that even work together?
I'm sorry, I ain't gonna say it.
No, I'm saying if you're married, you're about the black. I mean, if you're pro-black, you're about the black community. The black community will always thrive through men and boys that grow up to become the men of the future. So if you're a woman and you're actually pro-black, why wouldn't you have a husband? If you care about men of the community, if you think men should do something, they should be out here, they should be protectors, providers. If you think men should be leading, you would want men to look good in that direction, which means what? You follow one. If you won't follow a man that's black, how do I accept that you pro-black?
And I always put a challenge out there to the LGBT community. If you want to prove you pro-black, I want you to go in hard in the paint for black families and keep the black family structure. I haven't saw one yet.
One of the things I've noticed about the rainbow bright people is they love that, and I've noticed that they've conquered every movement that we've done. Anything they go, like I'm sitting here laughing at now. They painted a big crosswalk, like running right into our school, in my city, and I'm like, for real? I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like, do you realize what you're doing? I mean, they're destroying every little thing, but I'm just, oh God, it's coming to the point to where even if people it's starting to fall on deaf ears, and they're going to think that they got ridiculed, and they went through a lot of people just beating their ass because of who they were. Then, in about 3 to 4 more years, you can see they're gonna really start getting. They're gonna see what it's like to be not protected or really treated like crap. Because every time they step out of line, people gonna smack them back in line. Because you can see that people are just getting tired of them running amok with that, and that's not gonna be a protection for you anymore. Because they use it as a right of protection to act a fool, like the women do. Same thing. They use it as a right of protection. I can act a fool and do what the fuck I want, and then as soon as I do something wrong and somebody knock me back in my place, it's, oh, they did that because I was gay, or they did that because I was a black woman. They did that. I mean, sooner or later, that shit's gonna have no effect.
Here's the thing: when it comes to the pro-black things, people make too much of an issue about gay people. I don't know gay people struggle. Okay. I'm keeping it real. I never even realized gay people were struggling. I don't know the laws that are stopping gay people from doing anything. I've never heard of these laws. Plain period. Matter of fact, as far as I can tell, gays are very well represented in media. They're overly represented. Heck, a gay man just gave me my food at a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? He obviously
Well,
gay.
well,
Okay.
not even
So,
like I said,
but
they network in their
Their
community.
struggle
I'll
is
say.
to stop people from
my
saying
my
yuck.
point is the gay people shouldn't even be our concern when you start talking about pro-black. Gay people get focused on as nothing but a distraction of why people that's not pro-black. Because you know what I'm saying, if we could focus on who is pro-black and who isn't pro-black, you ain't got to worry about no gay folks. They'll just fall in line where they fall in line. But what I'm saying is, you got a whole group of women out here that claim they pro-black that ain't following no man. They're not even for black men, and they're claiming pro-black. How does that even work together? If
Well,
you are pro-black,
unfortunately,
you got to be pro the man of that. If you pro your community, you got to be pro the man of your community, because the
well,
man of your community is supposed to be the leader.
but this is the problem with that, Roger. This is the problem. Still, the status quo. I mean, like, think about it from now. We just flip the coin over. Say you a woman. Boom, you're a woman now, Roger. And all like this. With all the things that advantages you have, there's no reason to change. Because just a perfect example, you might get a good dude, but there's always another dude out there that attempts to do the same thing. I mean, the environment is not inclusive for you to change, because unfortunately, the environment hasn't gotten bad enough. The only way for the women to actually change is to where, we need more times where they see, oh, you ain't got no man, something happened and somebody beat your ass and nobody came to the rescue. That's
So,
how I ain't gonna lie. That's the only reason gonna get them to change. There's no reason for them to change.
so
The
why say
environment
they're
is,
pro-black then? So I mean,
but
I get what you're
but
saying. So why is
no,
it praise them
okay,
for
I'm gonna
being
tell you
pro-black?
why. Because this is the problem is it's just like everybody want to throw back and whatever the fucking name is, or I'm gonna get the bag, bitch. It's just a new gang, It's like when you got a baby and you flip the pacifier. You've been crying and you just flip it over and give it to them, and all of a sudden they take the pacifier. Same pacifier, you just flipped it over. I mean, basically, it's just a new part of the new live crew, and half of these women don't realize that they're just being played from one fiddle to the next. I mean,
No.
you see it.
My point is, why would you give these people credit for being pro-black if they're not?
But because because as long as this is how it goes with them, remember, they don't need no credit. They don't need.
I'm saying with us, we give them
But
credit
we
for
don't
being
get. Well,
pro-black.
we don't give them no credit. We already know. If most of us men know that we awake, we realize that that's just a bullshit saying. We know that already. Come on now, we ain't stupid enough to that.
Now,
For us to sit here and say that we believe that these motherfuckers is pro-back, whatever. I mean, we don't believe that shit.
I don't hear men
Hey,
speaking.
fellas, on a side note, because my wife's doing a driver's test. If somebody is driving and the passenger is not wearing a seatbelt and gets stopped by the cops, who gets the ticket?
The passenger does. If the driver's
Okay.
wearing a seatbelt, and also they cannot pull you over for the passenger not wearing a seatbelt. Now, if
Really?
the passenger's a child, then the adult's responsible. There's an exception to that rule.
Okay, we'll bring it back to the topic. So what if the passenger was black? I'll wait.
And if the passenger, this is how it works. I'm gonna let you know. If the passenger, no, but listen. I'm gonna let you know. If the passenger is black They're not supposed to be able to pull you over for that. Now, does it happen in the real world to black people? Yep. But if the passenger is black, say I have my seatbelt on and my dude don't, they can pull us over for that. Because, just because this is the rule and how they're supposed to act, don't mean that that's how they act. We already know that.
Okay, so I found it said
Just a
that
side
you,
note,
you it
I don't
said
think.
that the oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, to go along with your side note, I don't think a black man can correctly drive any car and not potentially be pulled over. I don't think that's exists in
Mhm.
America.
You're right about that shit. I tell them all the time. I tell people, you got to realize something. Just a black man driving his car can mean everything gone. I mean, literally, I was sitting here laughing. My friend broke down this morning. My butt was too busy with a candy gram, as DGS would say. And when he called me, I didn't answer. But he had to call like 2 other people before somebody came and picked him up. We was joking, saying if he'd have been abroad, there'd been like 10 dudes out there trying to help him.
Yeah.
The answer, real quickly, the answer said if the passenger is 16, then the driver would get the ticket. That's what the answer said in the test. But go ahead.
What I was about to point out this observation that it's always a shame that, even to the day when a police officer gets behind me when I'm driving, that there's always that uneasiness that is right there. And,
Yep.
I got a question for the panel. Do you feel that uneasiness or don't you whenever you're driving and a cop gets behind you, even if it's for like a hot second, do you feel that uneasiness as if something could
Hell
potentially
yeah.
happen?
I think we all
Hell
do.
yes.
I'd be surprised to hear brothers say that they don't.
I actually say the answer is no. I already understand if they get behind me. I already know why they got behind me. So I'm not going to even say it's an uneasiness. It's an expectation.
Yeah, because if it's at
I like
night,
that. And I like that wording, Roger. That was right. Can you say that one more time again? I don't say it's an uneasiness. It's expectation. That should be a line of a show right there. That could be a title of a show.
I know why they got behind me. It's not even a mystery to me at this point.
I think at night, I think I would be extremely nervous. But I'm a professional.
Well, I'm just going to tell you like this is. I just give an example how I know that like it changes too depending on how old you are. Because see, I drove for over 10 and a half years without a license because of the child support shit, right? Never got pulled over. The only time I got pulled over is if it was something wrong. I would never get pulled over for traffic. So I know, literally, I remember every time, oh shit, is this going to be the time? Thank God I never got pulled over. But eventually, as soon as I got my license, I got pulled over 5 times in 1 year. And I'm sitting there laughing because my friend was like, you never get. I was like, I know, but it's like, that's exactly at certain times, you got to really be careful in certain areas. You black, you driving through there, you're going to get messed with. You just come with the territory.
Well, I just try to make sure any vehicle is up to code, so there's no reason that they even can pull me over. If the slightest thing is wrong with my vehicle, I'm gonna go get it fixed immediately.
Oh yeah,
that's inviting them to mess with me. That's how I see it. That's if you're driving a vehicle and something wrong with it, and you're a black man, you're giving them an invitation to come mess with you. So that's how I take it.
Well, this is one of the things I try to tell too as black men. As a matter of fact, I need to make a video of what they call a black person driving in a car starter kit. Certain things black men need to have in a car, period, already. Matter of fact, I need to make that video and show them exactly like this, because you need to have, first thing you need to have jumper cables. Now, if you're a black man, especially, you need to have what they call a jump box where you can jump the car yourself. On top of that, you need to have what they call an air compressor to pump air in the tire just in case you got a problem. On top of that, you need to have a patch kit and know how to use the motherfucker, because the problem with being a black man driving a car on the road, if you're broke down on the road, when the cops pull up to you, they're going to ask for your ID. They're not going to say, oh, they see you on the road changing a tire? Yeah, let me see your ID. I mean, no, fam, I'm changing the tire. I don't care. We need to see your ID. I mean, that happened. You wouldn't believe how many people they catch just because of that. Like, you run out of gas, all that shit. Oh, let me see your ID.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you know,
dude, you don't buy me. No, before I do anything, I'm running you to see if you
but,
got a warrant somewhere that I can take you to jail. Now, I've watched
but
him do that to women. Wait a minute, bro. Wait, just sit back. Now, I've watched him do that to women plenty of times. They don't do shit. Oh, do you need some help? You need to use the phone, this, that, and the other. No, bitch, why don't you ask for that motherfucker's ID? I used to watch him do that on the
Oh,
train all the time. Them Chinese people would get on the train, and these motherfuckers knowing that Asians that they say knowing that they didn't buy no card, the transit cops would get on the train, let them get off, and buy a ticket and all like that. But I'm like, no, take that fucking ID and run them like you do every black person. Because anytime a black person, we need to run your name, and they
but see,
do
you
because
trying to
literally,
approach it objectively. The thing is, these people got a vendetta against us. Can we all can we acknowledge that they got a vendetta, a personal vendetta against us?
they
definitely.
do, and that's exactly why. If a cop tried to run my name because my car broke down, that's the last thing you get. You're not getting no name. Not committing no crime. Point
Well,
blank. Period.
just give an example. We had broke down one time. My girlfriend, I was in the car with her. This is my son's mother, actually, my youngest son's mother. We broke down on the highway out here at Highway Patrol. Guy pulled. She ran out of gas. She forgot the gauge, and the car was broke. We were 3.5 miles. We were like 1.5 miles up from the exit, and then we had to walk 2 miles down the street to the gas station. So while we get there, we thought, oh, good, look, a highway patrol officer pulls up. I'm like, cool, this, that, and the other. He walks up to the car. I'm like, hey, yeah, we just ran out of gas, this, that, and the other. Let me see your ID. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, well, she was driving. So she handed him an ID. So, oh, well, that's what it's like? I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like, I ain't got no one. I ain't worried about it. So you ain't going to offer us a ride? I'm like, okay, cool. So then after she run out, she clear. Let me see your ID. I'm like, dude, I'm not driving. I said, why don't you be nice and give us a ride up here? You know, Black Hawk cop, too. No, I ain't doing that. All right, let me see your ID. Let me run you, and I can. So wait a minute. You basically saying, let me try to take your ass to jail for something else before I help you, and you'll allow me to walk 1.5 miles on a highway at 12 o'clock at night. Is that what you're telling me? She looked and said, she said, you know what? Fuck you, nigga. This is what she turned out. She could say that because I couldn't. She said, you know what? Fuck you, nigga. We'll walk. So we walked to the gas station, got there. When I got there, I realized I left my wallet in the car. So we had to walk back. I only had like $1.50 in gas. And that was back then, which wasn't enough to start no truck. Afterwards, I put what gas I had. We walked back to the truck, put the gas in the car still wouldn't start. So I walked back to the gas station. While I was walking back to the gas station, the same highway patrol officer pulling up next to me, walking again. I said, yeah, man, we didn't have enough. I left my wallet in the car through all that mumbo jumbo. I said, you want to be nice and give me a ride now? Yeah, let me run you. Nigga, what? I'm like, you just saw me walk to the, and you would rather do, you know what, goodbye, brother. I said,
None of that affects their pay. And my
right,
thing is, you had way too much conversation with the guy. I already know
no,
you're
I
not going
said,
to help.
right. I told him, I said, well, go on somewhere, bro. I'm going somewhere. I said, bro, if you, I said, with black men like you, we don't need it. We don't need no enemies.
Now, the thing is, they're trained to be that way. First of all, I wouldn't have told them nothing about what I was doing in the first place. If I'm not suspected of a crime, there's no reason for me to have a discussion with you, period. I'm not giving you no ID. You know what I'm saying? If you want to serve, if you want to serve me as your employer, you can serve me. You can go on about your business. It's one of the two. They ain't
Well,
no,
this is the
no
problem. I love that, Roger. This is what I'm gonna tell your ass. You don't sit up here and think. If the motherfuckers want your ID and you're a black man, unfortunately, how they do that bullshit where they say you ain't been selected for a crime, have them audit people be black and watch how many of them will get their ass beat. Have them people, they do the audit forms, have them motherfuckers be black and watch how many people will get arrested. I told them they
I
should
don't know
never do the
So you can say
audit.
they not
Like,
nothing
pro-black, then, right?
about no artists. I got a right to privacy.
but what I'm trying to say is this: you don't give a cop your ID. That can be a bad thing for a black man. I would never recommend that to a young black man. That could be a bad. I mean, that don't work out for us.
Okay, but
I don't recommend a black man
when's
give
the
a cop
time
his
to
ID.
flex right and not?
You can't flex, right? You can't flex like that. I ain't gonna lie. I would never
No,
recommend a black man.
if you just broke the law, no, don't play.
Even
That's
if
the
you
wrong
ain't
time.
broke the law, you still. But this is how
Is
it
it
works,
really
bro.
law?
You could go to
Is it
jail for
really
2
an
3 days and
objective
still.
law?
Right. Trust me. All they got to do is be like, we
Y'all
had a.
dealing with tribalism. That's the thing.
Right.
This is the thing I want people to understand. You're dealing with tribalism, all right? This is why none of the objectivities that the system says it's going to go by when interacting with us, none of them shits are effective because you're dealing with tribalism. This is personal. Even if they didn't run the motherfucking system, they would still try to set up whatever the fuck they could against your goddamn instrumentality. Your benefit. This is something personal with them. This is that fucking personal.
Well, see, Rogus, you're correct, which is why I say you never give me your ID. If they wanted to do something to you, they're gonna do it anyway.
You never give me an ID, you just going to jail. So you just going to jail anyway. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. You probably you don't give me an ID, you just take a risk of getting your ass beat and going to jail and a bullshit charge put on you.
Judge, this is reality of the world we live in. Anytime a cop pulls you over and you know you ain't did nothing wrong, they're still there to either give you a ticket, beat the brakes off you, kill you, or put you in jail. That's what they stopped you for. You know you ain't did nothing wrong. So the only thing you gonna do is call a bluff.
But I'm not talking about like say that like this. We weren't talking about being stopped by the cops.
Just hear what I'm saying.
You changed the thing. Remember, we were already broke down. The cops just came up and talked to you like walking while black. There's plenty. You don't have to be doing nothing. If the cops roll up on you and say, "I want your ID," you better give it to them. Unfortunately, young brother.
I get that, Judge. I get what you're saying. Same thing still applies. You're bothering me because you want to. The only thing that's different is I'm gonna call your bluff. I know you why you're talking to me. I'm gonna call your bluff and make you do something because you're gonna do it anyway. Now the thing is, if you ain't bold enough to do it anyway, then nothing's gonna happen. Now if you bold enough to just do it regardless, then it's gonna happen regardless. But I'm not gonna even engage with you to have anything to escalate. I'm not engaged. Now if you're gonna whoop me anyway, I couldn't stop you anyway because you already got the advantage. You the person with the gun, you got the legal precedent and all that. And you was gonna do it regardless. The
problem with that way of thinking, though, Roger, the problem with that way of thinking is this: they can say, "Hey, we were looking for somebody, and this dude gave me a hard time. All he had to do was because when white people look at it as all he had to do was allow me to violate his right, and he wouldn't have been arrested. All he had to do was kiss the ring, and he would have been all right. All he had to do was kiss my ass, and I wouldn't have done it. But I mean, like I said." I'm not saying that. I mean, if you want, and look, I'm like this. If like I understand. If you want to, as long as you know that when you comply, yes, I hear you. When you comply, you take. Hey, when you say I'm not going to comply, just realize I'm taking one for the team, and make sure that anything that happens after that, you realize that's what's going to happen. I'm just going to take one for the team.
Niggas, we gonna be spending our motherfucking humanity sometimes in our life. I understand a lot of you niggas want to try to exercise that fake false ass citizen shit. Ain't no motherfucking citizen when the motherfucking same law is permitted to hunt you. Fuck the law of this goddamn nation, cuz.
You're right about that shit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm starting to hate my country.
The next day.
I hate my country. I hate to say that. I live here. People say, "Well, then, why don't you live somewhere else?" Trust me, motherfucker. If I could move to Mars on the first group, I'd be there. Because I hate to say, I'm starting to hate this country. I see that how corrupt we are and how we ain't really doing nothing, and we ain't really acting how we should. We're supposed to be the best nation and all that shit, but I hate to say, we fucking up big time.
Man, I
you saying we? What's this we shit? You saying we? It's too close to motherfucking 4th of July for you saying all this we shit. What's this we shit? We who?
We as Americans.
Nigga, fuck all that American shit,
right.
Cuz. The fact y'all niggas
I agree with
that shit after 2020, niggas still ain't got no motherfucking hate bill passed.
No shit. But wait a minute. The Chinese got the hate bill just because we called it the China virus. Think about that shit. They got a fucking that could be a fucking hate crime. Think about it. We wasn't out there beating Chinese people's ass. But think about the asset. Considering that most of the Asians got their businesses in an inner black city. The only time that black people fuck with them is when they step out of line. They beat their ass.
It was
But other than
introduced.
that, it ain't like they was just beating them up because they still going there buying their Chinese food and every damn thing else.
It was introduced as laws because the
So the
gold
I ain't
thing
never
is,
heard
how
of
do
a
you
black
get this
person
shit to
beating the
change?
Asian.
Because that's what the
right.
pro-blacks are trying to do, right? Ain't the pro-blacks trying to get that to change through if those you're taking political measures or
No. Rogus,
cultural measures or whatever?
they're creating a situation that don't exist. Black people and Asians don't really have issues with each other in this country. We don't really talk to them. That's the reality of it. Black people and Asians don't really talk to each other. Asians go to their little Korean town or their Chinatown or wherever they got going on, and they stick in their areas and they talk their languages and whatnot. And black people usually ain't present. I ain't never heard of a
Okay.
black people jumping on Asian people. They just creating stuff to use more stuff against black people. And every hate crime is just gonna be used against you anyway. So we don't even need no hate crimes to exist. All the crimes they got right now, how do they do that? How do they handle that when black people are involved? They over police black people. And whatever's made for somebody else, we're gonna take the brunt of it and they'll get the benefit of it. That's the way every crime works in this country. What I need a new thing to be a crime for. When have we ever had black people having a problem with Asian folks? What do
Right?
we
What?
even have to have a problem about?
Well, I sit there and laugh all the time. I tell them, I said, this is one of the things I tell you as a black person, we don't need no more damn laws because they'll just be over emphasized on us. I told
But
her, I
but
said, you don't
but
realize we don't need no
but
damn laws. We don't
Judge,
need more damn laws.
Judge, I agree. But my thing is, we've had people speaking out about talking about Asian hate. Who has seen them?
Right. I ain't seen nobody
I'm
know.
And a
no.
big
I'm saying I've never heard of Asian hate. I've literally never heard of any black people in this entire country ever doing anything to Asians because they were Asian. I ain't never
Yo, that's
heard
the
of it.
same thing that
When
they
did that
talking
ever
about,
happen?
motherfuckers raping white bitches, dog. Why is it that they didn't show nobody else sleeping Asians? Like it was only homeless niggas that was doing it. No, you got Arabs here, you got motherfucking Mexicans here. You mean a couple of cholos ain't snuck no motherfucking Asian? You didn't see that on the news. It
And
was
That's
don't
just
forget about
niggas.
don't forget
that
about
Asian
reefer
thing.
madness.
That Asian thing is just nothing but a subterfuge to further get away from what the problems with blacks exist. And another problem is that every time they put something out there like that, a lot of us jumping up to say and gasping and acting like that shit actually exists instead of sticking to our guns and standing on our square. So
Well, just to give an example, I'll prove to you. I will prove to you right there. When I was doing the gig work, right? When I sit up there and we was doing the good work, doing the deliveries and shit like that, when I saw, like, I would go anywhere. I would go from as far west to as far east. So I would be in the houses where these houses worth 2 million, all like this, cater to all these people. The only Asians that were really out there making money were all in the black neighborhoods. There were Asians wasn't them white people. I don't know, white neighborhoods didn't have no Asian stores out there. I mean, so
But
they go to show
but
you. No, but
but
what I'm trying to say is this: that goes to show you if the Asians were so fucking scared of black people, why their stores ain't out in the white neighborhoods? Because they
but
didn't get no money. Then white people wasn't buying their shit.
the
Bro,
point is, blacks and Asians don't really deal with each other at all. You cannot
Unless
have
it's for eating or
you
something or for a
you
service.
not well, yeah, and you cannot really have a whole quote unquote Asian hate issue with people that don't even talk to each other.
hey man, the Peckerwood went into the massage parlor and rah, 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 Tulene and all the rest of her sisters, and it was the niggas sleeping them. They got the motherfucking chip hat. So if they still wouldn't spend this hay bill on Peckerwood, right, who literally just outright doing all this massive killing, niggas hurt some of them. Let's say that it was
But
black people that was sneaking these motherfuckers.
think
They didn't
think
kill them.
about this.
They
Think
snuck
about this
them.
for a
They
moment.
still
Think
live.
think about this for a moment. When they pass bills, they can't pass bills based on the villainization of their people. They got to use
Exactly.
us to pass the bills.
Of
Exactly.
course.
Going all the way back to reefer madness. it's always something to where the black person has to be the
Blame the
face.
niggas. In the word of Paul Mooney.
What I'm trying to stress is they do this stuff to get black people to stop looking at who the enemy is. Now y'all can say whatever you want about Asians, but Asians ain't our enemy. But they've created a whole situation so black people can look at some Asians instead of looking at the white people that's doing stuff to them. I don't want to hear nothing about no Asian hate because I ain't never heard of it. And if Asian hate was a real thing, somebody would have told me something about it at some point in my life.
Look, we would have
And ain't nobody
understood it
told me
as
one story about it yet.
The only
we
thing
wouldn't have
I
been
hate
shocked.
about the Asians,
When
I'll
that
say
shit
like
first
that.
came on, it shocked us. It shocked black
Yeah.
people because black people was not expecting for all this Asian hate shit for black people to show up. Like where you ain't never heard nowhere in niggerdom, in
Right.
words of Pat Williams, that shit
No, but
occurring around y'all. Even when the shit happened when that Asian woman blast old girl in the back of the head back in the day, right? That shit didn't even spark anti-Asian hate to the point to where they would, you know what I'm saying, make note of it like that, black on Asian relations or whatever.
well, I'm just gonna tell you like this: if Asian hate was so bad, right, and we hated them motherfuckers so much.
It don't exist.
Wait a minute. I know that, but I mean, here's to let you know. We know it don't exist, nigga. But what I'm saying, if it was so bad, think about it. They own all the fucking hair restaurants. I mean, hair stores and all like that. Don't you think the black women would have ran up there and stole all their damn weaves and shit? I mean, you would have heard about mass. Like, think about it. If we hated the shit that damn much, the black women would have went. I mean, do you realize them motherfuckers wouldn't have to have a damn hair store weave? Can you imagine if they was hated that damn much? Would be no
Look,
Yaki in stock. You know,
I
the niggas ran up in there, they'd have been hitting that shit like them niggas hitting Louis Vuitton.
But they didn't
But I
use
don't
black
want to talk
women to
about
sell that
Asian hate
agenda.
with
They
all these
used
white
black
people that
men.
actually hate us.
They
That's my
used the
point.
image of black men to sell that agenda, as they always do.
My point is, I don't want to talk about Asian hate when I got all these white people that hate me. And I don't know why people don't. And my thing is, that's how people should take a stance on when they bring this stuff up. I don't want to talk about that because these white people hate. It's no reason for me to have a long, drawn-out conversation about something that ain't even true when I can just deal with the fact that these white people hate me. All that stuff is just distractions to me. I ain't never had a problem with Asian yet. Black folks love Bruce Lee movies. Black folks love Chinese food.
Look at
Black
Wu-Tang
folks love
alone.
getting serviced by Asians at these hair salons and all this other stuff. Black folks have a fine relationship with Asians of any kind. I've never heard of us having a problem with any type of Asian. So why would I believe some nonsense about some Asian hate? I ain't never even seen a black person and an Asian person get into a fight. It's just two individuals because we don't even be around each other like that. So I'm not going to act like it's real. These white folks hate me and they wanted me to focus on the Asians, so I won't focus on them.
I think it's ingenious.
Tell themselves that they're hated by these people. They don't like telling themselves that.
But it's ingenious, man, because again, this is another cleanse process in itself, to where usually when it comes to hate in America, the face of hate is usually white people, right? Or white men, so to speak, right? So what they're trying to do is transfer that credit to other people that don't look like them. So now the villain, because they've been doing that for a while, you know, I mean, from the Crips and Bloods, the essays, or whatever, they try to put that out there when it comes to the, you know, the villain of America. So and they taking it all the way to law again, to where if there's going to be a face of hate, it's not going to be us anymore. Because remember, the Ku Klux Klan was loved back in the day. You know, they played. Remember, was it Birth of a Nation? Wasn't that Calvin Coolidge? Was it Calvin Coolidge that played?
Yeah, played at the White House.
Yeah, at the White House. So now I mean, the thing is this. I'll be real quick. Remember, you know, you got people around the world looking, and I believe when Martin Luther King was getting arrested on purpose, he knew that the world was watching, so it put a lot of pressure on Kennedy. So that's the thing that they're trying to avoid, is that if I want to get things across, I don't want them to keep throwing the fact that we're hateful in our face, you know, because we got to put somebody else out there now. And the sad part is we're like we're sort of like backing that up.
Fact,
Then you hear black
fact.
people say, "Hey, black people, stop the hate against Asians." I'm like, dude, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and see that's my whole problem and why I get annoyed. We want to be emotional and start talking about a problem that don't exist, and stop and act like it ain't these white people. Black folks don't really have a problem with anybody but white people.
Yeah,
I haven't heard of any groups of people that did anything to black people that wasn't white people.
and
I
we
don't
just
know
want to
of
be
that
left
group.
alone, man. I just keep telling people that, and I know I get laughed at, but I'm like, I think the overall, especially black men, we just want to be left alone. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Black men do want to be left alone. I can 100% agree with that. Black men do want to be left alone. But my thing is, we get distracted by. Stop letting people give us new enemies. I don't need no new enemies. I got enough white people out there already. I don't need no new.
Hey, they've been persuaded though. That's the thing. America, remember, was it John? I don't know if y'all listened to what's his name, Dr. Claude Anderson, when he did
Right.
he did his lectures at Fred Price's church back in the 90s. He said the American dream is not apple pie and baseball and picket fence. The American dream is how you treat black people. That's what he
Mm.
said back then. So a lot of people are like having this dream that I want to do this to black people, because they feel like they're aligned and almost with that feminist movement. Remember they talking about equal rights for women and all that, but I think part of equal rights is to own slaves.
Right.
So,
Yeah, because
eh,
white women blew up when they heard about a nigga getting a vote before them. They wasn't they
yeah,
were It was not gonna have that.
that's why I say good luck to Kamala Harris in 2 years, because them white women have not been. There's no white woman that's been in the president or vice president yet. So
Yeah,
good luck, good luck.
I already know how that's gonna go.
It's gonna get ugly, but
Yeah, it ain't gonna be
yeah,
that
man.
ugly because our women are gonna be told what their place is and they're gonna accept it as they always do.
No,
Trump
because both sides
2024.
trying to win. See, both sides are trying to
Black
win, but you
women,
gotta fight.
black women ain't finna challenge white supremacy.
Oh, well,
That's
that's
the
not
one.
where I'm going.
Oh, okay.
That's not where I'm going. The you know how it is. The optics helps you win the election. So I wonder which side is going to use that to their advantage. That part I don't know.
What's the difference between a supremacist and a non-supremacist?
Non-supremacists is some black men, like the only people willing to fight against white supremacy. But I mean, from an overall standpoint, everybody who's a normal person in this country has been taught to be a white supremacist. Everybody knows they place in white supremacy, and most of them accept they place in white supremacy, and they're not going to do anything to disrupt white supremacy, which means black men have to be at the bottom. So if you can do anything to aid black men to be at the bottom, you're pretty much willing to do it.
Yeah, because like again, that feeds people, man. I mean, that's it's almost like like I'm looking at the educational system, correct? The I had a Latino principal, and he pretty much did a lot of stuff that wasn't too good for a black man. It was almost like you put him in his place, but he raised up the sisters. Now, none of us are in position to where we could be white supremacists or supremacists, but you damn near believe that he was putting himself in a position to imitate it. So, because the sisters felt that they were all that because they were in certain positions where the brothers were on the bottom. And this is
And
Latino people.
and as a man, think about it. It's got to be a luxury to live in America. And as a man, you can underperform your life in every area. But as long as you ain't a nigga, you still get some credit.
Yeah,
What person would really want to disrupt that system?
yeah, it's comfortable. Like I said in the very beginning or earlier, our dysfunction feeds people. The fact that we don't know is a dysfunction. It all that stuff, and they anticipate on it. And I think everybody's trying to get in on it. I know some people are waiting on their turn to get accepted as white after the Italians. I don't even know if that's going to happen or not. Um, but we'll see, man.
These people cool because you know that lady. Jane Elliott. If y'all ever watch one of her videos,
Yeah,
when she be
yeah.
talking
Yeah,
about,
I'm on
yeah,
tomatoes on her. I'm half on her.
what? Just think about it. When she goes into a room full of white folks and she just asks them, "Would y'all want to trade
Very
places of
pleased.
being treated like black people?" The white people, everybody in the room acknowledges they don't want to trade places. So it ain't like people don't get what's going on. They have a great understanding of what's going on. But as long as that understanding is not put in their face, it just allows you to breeze through life a whole lot better. So the whole thing is, this, white supremacy is built on being above black men. Black women were
Yep.
only brought over here to start perpetuating slaves when they made a rule to stop going over there with boats and bringing more over here. If they'd have never made that rule, women would have never been brought over in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't it. You know what I'm saying? The white supremacists wasn't really that against black women. You know what I'm saying? So we're the focus, not the women.
Yeah, the
And even the
mammy.
women have accepted, since they're not the focus, they're willing to sell us out.
Yeah, the mammy took care of the house, and she, you know, they had it. They found ways. And sisters, if y'all listening, they using y'all every which way. And y'all still saying black man ain't shit.
And they know that though. They know that, and they happy to say that for that white man. The one
Oh
thing a
yeah.
sister would do is cover a white man. That's for sure.
But I'll tell you this. This is the reason why, and unfortunately, if they have the resources and they have the trinkets to give them. See, as long as you can give them some type of advantage over that, like this is that thing. It's this. The only way, I ain't gonna lie. The only way for the black man to ever get anything is, I hate to say something, you're gonna have to turn your black back on black women. And I understand people going, when I say turn them back completely, it's just the fact is, you don't help a black woman, period. Like, it's gonna have to come out with a model like that. Hey, remember, we ain't shit anyway. I don't give a damn what's happening. I don't give Pookie's beating your behind. I'm just gonna stand there and watch. You know what I mean? Period. You don't help them, and like they drive by on the side of the road. I mean, literally, it's gonna have to come to that, because what'll happen is they have no reason to. You're gonna have to bring them back, and the only way they're gonna come back is if they're getting hurt, robbed, the other thing or something like that. They're not gonna come back without feeling pain, to where they say, well, wait a minute, if I don't got this black man here with me, I'm getting hurt, robbed, killed, raped, all the other stuff. That's the only way they're coming back.
Donnie,
And as
who's on
long
the
as there's still a simp, as long as there's still a simp out there, there's enough of them out there. That's the problem.
Donnie, who's on that avatar?
That's
That's
we
him.
got
That's
that
me.
glow.
That's you, Donnie, on the avatar?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
got
what
the
it
glow.
is.
I thought you
We got
knew.
that glow, my nigga.
What?
I
Okay.
catch bullets with my teeth.
Nigga, please.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It'll come to
Okay.
you. It'll come to you. You just gotta think about it. But he do got
How
that
does?
glow.
Hey, wait. I know exactly I know who it is. You don't know who that is? Who's the master? But like I said, Donnie, how's the little baby doing?
Oh, his little heathen ass is good.
Man, you need to add me
He
on
good.
Facebook. I want to see what he look like, man.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, add me.
Yeah,
That's
ain't
my
no
real name.
baby.
Add me. I want to see how. Man, you got to see my little cousin too. You see his videos of him helping me on working on the house and shit. But yeah, man, you
Okay,
gotta.
yeah,
I want to see. I'm pretty sure he was big already then. So what's he doing? He's probably getting into everything by now, ain't he?
yeah, he about the size of a 4-year-old, and he
Yeah.
ain't everything. I'm keeping him in the box, which I
He
don't
eating
really
he
know if I
eating all
should
your
be doing
food and
this.
shit too. Every time you try to eat something, he's snatching it.
No, this little mo, he's super selective. If it ain't chicken nuggets or French fries, he ain't having it.
For real?
Oh, you got him on the meat already?
Chicken nuggets, French fries. He'll eat fruit. He'll eat the fuck out of fruit. He'll eat like
Yes, sir.
blueberries and bananas and shit like that. But if it's if I'm eating something else, he's like, what's that? I don't want that.
Oh. Oh, so long as you ain't getting no fries though, huh? No chicken nuggets.
Yeah,
Well,
nah. If I
he
get
like
fries,
chicken
it's a
tenders
wrap
probably
for him.
too then, huh? He like meatless,
Yeah,
boneless chicken. Yeah, I know. I like get them chicken tenders from the store, man. I love them. With some honey mustard sauce or some hot sauce and ranch sauce together. Woo!
Mm.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and mute up so
So
y'all don't hear
when I
my
came on,
parents.
I heard y'all talking about anti-Asian hate, which is fictional. I mean, did y'all wrap that up? Because that to me, I think I always think that's an interesting conversation that Asian people are running around here pretending that they getting their ass whooped on a daily basis, or that they're being harassed and they can't do business when all of these motherfuckers in the hoods whooping sisters' asses left and right at the nail salon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If they were so, this is the problem. I told you, I made a comment of this. If the Haitians were so scared of black people and they was getting their ass beat by black people, why the fuck are all their businesses in high black neighborhoods? Like when I was out in the super suburbs where it's only white people, that you can't find an Asian business. You can't
And
find it. Where in a black that I can see Asians, Koreans, Indians, Asian.
and to add on to that, brother, they're in the most dangerous neighborhoods.
Yeah, I mean, and what's so bad is think about it. And what's so bad? Think about it. Why they
Wait.
businesses ain't getting robbed like that? The black people and the white man in the hood get robbed more than the Asians do. So if they were supposedly hating it, why the fuck even the Mexicans? You already know Mexicans ain't about that shit. They get robbed more than the Asians do. And you
Wait a
know
minute.
Mexicans will come
Let's
back and kill your
marinate off of
family
what
for
Art
robbing
just
them.
said. Wait a minute. Let's marinate off of what Art just said. They just put forth that propaganda. What was it last year, the year before last, or something? They've
Yeah,
been
around there.
operating in the worst neighborhoods
I mean the
for the
gangs, all that.
entirety of you know what I'm saying of their time here.
Mhm.
Really, if you want to talk about them being around black people, that you know what I'm saying, them motherfuckers ain't around like Baldwin Hills like that or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
they've been around for
yeah.
years,
They
man. What
Why
you
they
mean?
wasn't
have to
there no
they
why
have to
wasn't
thrive
there
off of us.
no word brought to the public of there being some possible, you know what I'm saying, black on Asian hate then?
They have to thrive off of us. There's no way that the Asian community can come here and do anything without thriving off of us. If you look, like prime example, when I lived in Philly, on every fucking corner in Philly, there's an Asian something. There's a store with some Asians. There's some beauty supply, or more likely a Chinese food restaurant on every fucking corner. Bulletproof glass. You ain't getting in there to rob these niggas. They sell blunts. They sell condoms. Niggas go to these stores on a consistent basis all damn day. How the fuck is it now? Oh well, we don't feel safe, and oh they whooping our asses. And this is really, mind you, this is all after the Chinese COVID virus, which came from China. But if you go through, for example, the Dallas airport, you still see signs about the African swine flu.
Well, see, my thing is, I don't think it should be talked about because you're gonna have niggas talk about something that don't exist. Somebody gonna take a sound clip from somewhere and try to make it exist.
Hey, look,
We
that's
should just
I said
acknowledge it don't exist. Just
that's a
acknowledge it don't
unicorn.
exist and move on. No, I'm saying black people don't need to be talking about it because it don't exist to talk about. If we're gonna talk, let's talk about some shit that actually exists. You know, that don't exist. I'm not finna sit here and talk about leprechauns. Ain't nobody found one yet.
Shit.
What
Hey,
about some good Chinese food?
said some
You
good.
clearly ain't been on the broadcast with Edward. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead.
Hey, listen up. Thank you for the super sticker, Marco Ross. Really appreciating it, and also shout out to Greg for the Cash App, man. Appreciate that as well. Uh, yeah, just very interesting conversation going on, and I appreciate y'all's support. Um, yeah, but yeah, go ahead, fellas.
Yeah. Well, my thing is, back on these pro-blacks. I think black people really got to learn to pull back the term pro-black and only apply it to people that are pro-black. If we could do that, we get a lot of problems solved right away. But pro-blacks are able to maneuver the way they are because they're being called pro-blacks because they're not for you.
Well,
But if everybody keeps saying they pro-black, then you're justifying other people letting them in rooms they have no business being in.
But you
But that
know,
comes with a social condition response, much like white supremacists. Like when people say white supremacists, motherfuckers actually think of the frothing at the mouth
KKK.
racists. You know what I'm saying?
Clan
And when
members,
people
the
think
Red
pro-black,
Grits.
they think motherfucking Black Panther from the movies and shit. So it's
start.
like I think there needs to be some different terminology because we're talking social conditioning. You're not going to
Well,
change the value that's on set through that.
what I'm gonna start doing again is when I hear something derogatory about being pro-black, I'm gonna start asking, what is it? They have to start defining what pro-black is. When they
Yeah,
start defining it, then it start to be more clear on what they talking about. Because we already know pro-black is looking out for your people for the best interest, whether it's financially, socially, economic, whatever, or family, whatever it is. You're looking out for the best interest of your people, just like pro-Chinese, pro-Korean, pro-Jew, pro-everybody. So I'm unapologetically looking out for my people.
So to me, it's
So
simple. If they're not trying to help black men, they ain't pro-black. You
yeah,
help a black man helps a woman and a child.
yeah.
You help
Either
a
make
child get help. You help a woman gets help. Help a
so they're
yeah,
gonna
man,
have to define
man,
it.
woman, child get help.
If they can
yeah.
define it, because I 9 times out of 10, if they have to define it, they're gonna say it's Boom Quisha, Shabak, it's gonna be Ray Ray down the street. It's gonna be something derogatory. It's gonna be
The,
George Floyd, all that stuff. They're gonna call all that pro-black. They're gonna say, well, then you can just
So
say,
I'm
hey,
saying we
that's
gotta
not
define
pro-black.
it. We gotta define it. If it ain't
the,
about helping
the
men,
problem with
it ain't pro-black.
For one, let's
the
define
problem
it
with
first and
saying
foremost
pro-black
as a
is
culture. You know what I'm saying? You got that person Weather in the chat talking about color. Any of you people who think in color, you think in skin color based off of the default of the classification of the social system, right? Now that's what we were appointed as. Yes, blackness or black, but we put blackness in our black class status. Blackness is different from the social construct of black. Blackness is the way that we lived and operated within that motherfucker. Okay? A people unto ourselves, we still ain't claim that shit. But yes, we did create ourselves a people unto ourselves within that. So you if you're a foreign cat, you might know it you know what I'm saying, by some defaulted skin color and then think that we're talking skin color. No, we're talking culture, cuz. Always.
so. I really feel like somebody should get an organ for this nigga when he start talking. Dun, dun, dun. But all jokes aside, when you talk about pro-black,
The city.
pro-black really is a derogatory term in my opinion because it shouldn't have to be said. It should just be the default setting for what a black person, a black male, black female is. Because you don't hear pro-Jew, you don't hear pro-Italian, you don't hear pro XYZ down the line because they just do for their people, and that is what it is. When you hear the term pro-black, automatically it's associated with a negativity, a negative situation, a negative person at that point. You imagine somebody out here doing
Or
some foolish shit or whatever the shit the case is. It should just be black. I'm a black man, so I do black, and it's understood at that point. When you have to get out and to go into the pro-black, you're already trying to stigmatize that person or that situation or scenario, whatever it is. So I really don't even like the term pro-black. That's just a black man doing black things.
well, also as a term of affirmation to one's blackness itself. But
Yeah, you got Black
I
Chamber of Commerce.
but I will go back to what Roger said. We can't go to just calling anything and everything pro-black. I mean, but that goes along with the dumbing down of society that we're witnessing in 2022. And and according to the forecast, if it keeps going this way, shit, we're gonna be calling Asians pro-black and shit like that.
They're
Uh,
trying to dance like us already.
oh
K
yeah,
shout out to K-pop.
well, yeah, which has already been done by the pilgrims, so to speak. But uh, shout out to Gilgamy, shout out to Gilgamy for the super chat. He said, "Late greetings to all LLTHLS. Long live my brother. Thank you for the support."
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's
and I'm gonna say that I see why saying pro-black is necessary because you got to. It's about the climate of where we live and how people understand things here. Because even the term black itself, you can actually make an argument that we shouldn't use the word black. Now I use it because I understand how people are gonna get it. But my thing is, if everything can be pro-black, it has no value. And at some point in time, especially we as black people, we got to stop letting everybody else define what pro-black is. You can't tell me you're pro-black and you ain't helping no black man. If you're
so. Let me
pro-black,
get
you can tell me how you help the black man.
Let me give y'all an example for those people that went to Japan. You got what the writings. The one we understand is Romanji, right? But you had hiragana and you had katakana and kanji. If you're a foreigner out there and you saw katakana, you like, damn, I can't wait to figure out what they're trying to say because that was for foreigners. Okay, so imagine if it said pro-black. You know, and there's places like out here it says black owned stuff like that. The key thing is since we're still trying to figure out who we are as a people, I think the sector of a pro-blackness should have to be pronounced so you know where you stand and where you should be. Because some people around here just don't mess with it. I mean, some black people around here don't mess with black people. Period. So I would rather circulate my dollars with a business that have the best interest at heart of our people, so I know that money is coming right back to me, rather than
Mhm.
going somewhere to Macy's or whatever, just because I'm trying to prove that I'm universal. Nobody else is universal but us. it's
I
and
didn't
it's
even get
killing
that
us.
memo that we supposed to prove universe. I didn't even got that memo.
Are you serious?
No,
And
A
it's
word
real
forgiveness?
funny. Have Have you ever seen? So I'm a part of like a valley group for like for my city, where people post their services and shit like that on Facebook, and it's a black couple on there that do barbecue every weekend. They post up on Tuesday, and by Thursday they typically sold out because the shit's fire. But they put on there black owned business. And
Yeah.
every time that they put black owned business on there, it'd be at least 1,000 comments deep. And the vast majority of the comments on that motherfucker are, why does it say it is a black owned business? What if I just had a white owned business? This is racist. And I think it's funny as fuck because when you look at the dynamic of that, you can look and see white folks will they don't say white, but they'll say Irish owned, and it'll be
Yeah.
to whatever it is, or Italian owned Italian
Hmm.
restaurant, and they're proud about it, and there's never a fucking problem. But when it's a black owned business, that's when it becomes problematic.
What if your business is written in Chinese and English speakers can't read it?
that was a
Well,
little racist, wasn't it? If I went by their
it,
logic, they complain about us.
Yeah, you see what I'm
I would
saying?
be pissed off if I walked into a Chinese restaurant and white folks was running. And you see some corny ass white dude. Hey, what the fuck is Ling Ling at?
Yeah, I would
Nah, bro,
verbally
I'm
call them
cool.
when you're running the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, man. It's just like I said, man, it's a team sport. I mean, the team has been expanded to other people other than white people. Shout out to Hood Server if he likes when I say that. But it is what it is now, man. You have to find ways to utilize the services of your neighbor and make sure make sure each other grow. I know it sounds like a cliche and a kumbaya thing, but I think kumbaya will help at this point. To be honest, I don't know about you guys.
I'm gonna do unashamed pro blackness, and people who try to pretend they pro black, I have not accepted them, nor am I
Right?
going to accept them. Period.
Should it be a rites of passage or some kind of secret knock or secret handshake or something?
And that would be
Nah, because
awesome. That would be awesome.
white
But I
folks will
think
come in here and try to emulate that shit, and some coon ass nigga teach it to them.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the first thing black people got to do if they pro black is start calling out the white supremacy amongst these people that claim they pro black. I think that's one of
Mm,
the pro blackest things you can do.
yeah, we
You
do
know,
have a lot of
It's a
people
lot
that.
of
Mhm. Go
it's a
ahead.
lot of coons, like even on here on YouTube. Like we've run across him. I'm not gonna say his name or nothing like that, but he will run under the guise of pro black while espousing the most right wing Fox News talking points I've ever seen in my life. Are we
Yeah.
supposed to call them out on a consistent basis? Are we supposed to let these niggas do good? I mean, how do you go about it? Because at a certain point, it just seems like a witch hunt, even though it's not.
well, I mean, yeah, you don't want to advertise them, but I'm saying it's just when you come across it, just point it out. because I've like been to places where the quote unquote pro blacks was supposed to be there, and I've listened to them, and then I ain't got up and left because I'm like, I thought this was a pro black thing. All I'm hearing here is white supremacy and plantation politics.
I mean,
Then
what's
people
the
get
use of
upset. Well,
this
what you mean,
anyway?
brother? You know,
I'm glad you said that, Donnie, and sorry, Raj. But what is the use of doing like have posing like you pro-black, but saying a lot of what do you call it? A lot of
All right,
anti-black
talking
or
points.
yeah. What's the use? What's the goal?
I think a lot of these individuals are confused mentally. They want to be in a position to where they can assimilate with white society and get the accolades that white people give them, but they also know that they are black. So they're trying to reach both sides of the coin, if it were, in order to try and find a niche for themselves. And really, their coolness is showing like they can't escape it. You know what I mean? You talking to a vampire, you just see the teeth and the eyes and everything else, but you're like, nigga, you supposed to be normal.
This is
but
me. This is
well,
me.
they want their nigga promotion. If you say what white people want you to hear, you know what I'm saying? They will eventually promote you. That's what they do. White people got smart. Instead of saying everything they felt, they started fighting black people to say it for them. It was one of the smartest things they could have did.
Candace
So
Owens and Brandon Taylor.
yeah, I mean,
It's
whoever you want to
the
put, they've been doing that
Officer
for
Taylor.
decades at this point. So the whole thing is
look
there's niggas who want to get on the team. So they're gonna be as anti-black man as they can be, so they can get on the team.
look at Jesse Lee Peterson. Jesse Lee Peterson done been exposed for being being part of the alphabet squad,
Yeah.
uh messing
You
with
know he
these
was
young white boys.
pro-black too, right? He was pro-black. He remember when Dr. Shahrazad Ali put her book out and was on these different talk shows?
Uh-huh.
He got up and endorsed her and saying, well, the woman's telling the truth and black people, this gonna help the black people. He was very back then. He had hair and all that. Now all of a sudden look at him.
Because he understood he was getting a whole lot of white pussy. He was able to jump on in for a head first. They was giving him a check. They was giving him endorsement deals. He saw the best of both worlds. He got to go out here and act like he was pro-black. And slowly it just bled over into being a coon. And he couldn't get rid of this shit.
Hey, that's amazing. No, I'm joking. That's what he said. Well, I wonder, you know what I wonder sometimes? Well, not wonder, but I kind of see it come. I see it coming all the time, and it usually happens when you are. I mean, I'm trying to avoid saying cooning, but hell, let's just say it, cooning. When you're cooning and you're doing all your stuff, eventually they're going to get tired of you and put you away, right? Or
Nigga wake up call.
yeah,
But once the nigga done tasted it's
Well,
hard.
basically, they realize this is the problem. When you've been cooning and stuff for a while, you realize that there's financial freedom in that because you get benefits of it. But unfortunately, it's like kind of like being a seller on Amazon, right? Say you sell a product and that Amazon's your distributor and they distributing all your shit. You made you a millionaire overnight. And this, that, and the other. Then eventually Amazon starts making that product and your sales go from 5,000 a day to nothing. And that's exactly what happened. They kind of like, you've lived your purpose. You only having one thing for deletion.
I mean, how much
And I
shelf
mean,
life?
like, as companies, that happens a lot to them. Like, it's kind of like that. Oh yeah, we'll rock with you. We'll see how this product. Yeah. You're gonna make money, and then all of a sudden, the next day you look up, you got 5,000 employees, and now all of a sudden your product ain't even been sold anymore because Amazon done undercut you for the Chinese bit, and they don't recommend you no more. So now you done dropped to 10 sales a day where you're getting 5,000. I
To
mean,
my understanding, back then, because I don't know if I'm the oldest person. Well, I think it's between me and Kev. We probably the oldest one on the panel. To my understanding, Cooney
how
got
old
you
are you?
paid. I'll be 50 this month.
Old fart. When's your birthday?
27.
25, 17th here, buddy.
Okay, we July babies. All right.
July baby.
Uh, but check it out, man. Back then, cooning got you paid, man. I mean, most people that did that cooning, they were not
Yeah,
broke.
man. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Look, I mean, think about it, man. Especially if you got a good. I ain't gonna lie. I was a salesman. If you got a good pitch and all like that, I ain't gonna lie, man. It's out there. Like just me. Like I used to people say, "Oh man, we need you to come back," but it's like I can't push a product I don't believe in. I don't believe in lying to people. Like I could be out there lying to people, and I was such a good salesman. I would probably be bigger than Derek Jackson if I chose to lie. Like when I was in the real estate thing. Like I said, I've always been one of the top people. I can sell it. But the fact is, if it's something I don't believe in, I can't sell it because I just can't. I don't believe in living a lie. Where some people can, hey man, you can live a lie because you sleep good at night knowing you got money, but you sell your soul to the devil, and a lot of people can't do that. That money is very enticeful. I mean, somebody told you, hey man, you're gonna be broke as hell, never gonna get any attention from women. You're gonna be robbing Peter to pay Paul, or you can come over here and tell this lie, and then now everything all cool, and you living in that, and you can't get, women taking turns jumping on your salami. Come on, man.
Okay, so we kind of established what pro-black is, right? But what is cooning based on you guys' definition? What is cooning?
So you have a couple of different definitions on that, right? You have what the white supremacists see, and that's just a nigga. Every time they see a black person, a colored, he's a coon. It just that's what it is. It doesn't matter your standard, how you moving, you a pet coon, right? But from our dynamic, is we see somebody who goes out of their way to be subservient or put themselves in a position to please their white master, if they will.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you have to see.
Like
go ahead. Okay.
Maybe it's like pandering for white acceptance and railing against the empowerment of black simultaneously. I would say. And but it's not. And I'll repeat this: it's not the black man who dates and marries white women. It's not that.
Oh darn! Okay, I'm saved. No, I'm joking. Okay.
I think Atlanta does a great job of when they did that episode where Soldier Boy, and this is spoiler for anybody who's watching, but one of the episodes, Soldier Boy was trying to help the community out, so he ended up getting into it with the this fashion designer, and the fashion designer brought him on board, and they had all these nonprofits, and they were like, what do we do? And he said, I want to do stuff for the black people, for your hood. And he put up this idea and posed it to them, and they took this idea and went from being for black people, helping black people, and they included gay people in there. They changed his message, motherfuckers kissing and shit in the video, and he just took that L. And I would consider that cool. This is something that where he made the attempt to go out there and try to help his community, but ultimately he took the check over what was really helpful for his community. So I would consider that cooning, right?
Mm-hmm.
He let the white people co-opt him, and he didn't even put up a fight. He just said, all right, you know what, this is what it is.
So we all could establish that cooning is mainly someone that's mainly talking for the best interests of white people on top, and pretty much
or they'll sell their soul for white folks.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it, because some people throw they kind of misappropriate the word cooning as well. Like Kev was saying, just because you married a white woman, you're a coon, that kind of stuff. Or just because you're a conservative, you're a coon, all that stuff. It's like,
well, I think okay.
I wouldn't consider Mike Steele or Colin Powell coons. You know what I mean? But go ahead. Hey, who's sleep?
Roger. Let me go ahead and mute him up real quick.
I call cooning. I call cooning when a motherfucker sits up here, and when it's basically like this is. When it's a black person, you can go ahead and give them both barrels when they step out of line. But when it's a white person, you kind of go easy on them. That's what I call cooning. Because that's a broad, you understand what I'm saying? One of the things is this. I treat everybody with the same type of thing. But black people can get it with both barrels, you see. Even my children can get it with both barrels. I don't show no favoritism. Just a motherfucker's wrong when they wrong, they wrong. It's just what it is. We ain't like we doing the shit on purpose, but you mean gotta call a spade a spade. People. Oh, but that's your son, and it's the fucking truth. I mean,
I got
it's
a
just
good
what it
Or
is.
it's just that
I got a
acceptance.
good I got a good question because I asked it on my community chat. And for those people that are here listening, please hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Because I hardly on panels anymore. I'm I'm very selective. But anyhow, is there a distinct difference between simping and cooning?
Uh, yeah, I would say yeah. There's a
I mean,
difference.
yeah.
Simping is morely for the fact of getting laid. I mean, I think that that's really what it is because I watch people do it all the time. I mean, and what's so bad? Not even for the fact of getting laid, for the fact of getting a chance to get laid. And that's why I tell
But
people all the time, look, this is what you do. Unless you're getting laid, that's when you change. But if you're not getting laid or just a chance, no. You should make at least that way when you go out there and simp and you get the name calling or potentially catch an ass whipping or whatever, at least you got some pussy. But don't do it for the chance. Hey, look, you want me to agree with you, baby? Come over here and step over here in this closet a little bit, and then when I come out, I'm gonna be agreeing with you. Oh, you don't want to do that? Guess what? Too bad.
And so
yeah,
actually, it's
so in
acting
my
out of your
opinion,
nature.
simping and cooning are two different things. But you can coon and simp at the same time.
Now, don't those
You're a
both
master
require
at
you
that,
to
right,
act?
Donnie?
Oh wow! Don't
I'm
they
sorry.
both
I'm sorry, man. I had to get you. I'm sorry.
don't they both have to require you to act out of your nature to get what you want?
Ooh,
I
yeah, that's
you,
pretty. That's true. That's true.
Because I thought about
I don't
that.
want to say out of your nature because some niggas is just broken. So,
Yeah, I thought about that. I was like, some people be approaching this cool and stuff like simps.
yeah,
You can
some
do
niggas are
whatever
just
you
broken.
want. You can never be wrong. All this stuff. I do anything you want from me as long as you give me what I want. That kind of stuff.
What gets me too, I see that sometimes what the hell is wrong with black people, or especially with a lot of them, is afraid to admit when you fuck up or sometimes you were wrong. I mean, I'm like, yeah, sometimes shit happens. I mean, you had a talking point that didn't have too much stand up. But it's like,
Hmm.
So
you know,
let me give you an
you know,
example of a simp and a coon in the same boat, right? Everybody's seen
Hmm.
that viral video of the white woman and the black man who got married, and he came out on all fours with a leash around his neck. Simp
Hmm.
coon.
yeah, definitely.
Or the Paula Dean
We
thing
also
when she got
Unless,
caught with
unless it
slavery
was,
enacted.
I ain't gonna lie, unless it was an act for some reason, but basically because back in the day, I know they used to do the white people do ball and chain. They basically what they used to call a woman, you know,
yeah,
ball
the
and
woman
chain.
used to put that
But
shit
but
on.
yeah,
This
you
nigga
should,
had
right,
that
right.
on all week.
No, the guy would wear the chain. It wasn't a woman. The guy would wear the chain because basically once you got a
Yeah,
broad
that's what I
pregnant,
said.
right, he would
No,
wear
no,
it.
no, no, no.
Yes,
She was
he would
my
wear
ball
it.
and chain. They would say
Right?
she's my ball and
No,
chain.
no.
But
Right. Basically, it was like being in jail. Basically.
right. They would, but she was the ball and chain to anchor him down. But he was wearing a leash around his neck, barking, acting like a fucking dog. Another example would be I think it was the Nigerian immigrant dude who was talking shit about black folks, and then his white woman who was on OnlyFans, was it, killed his ass.
Damn.
Talking about Christian overselling.
There you
What
go. Uh,
what about the slave wedding?
oh man, I
Oh,
forgot
when
all
they were
about that. I
outside.
even did a video on that shit. That nigga was out there in the cotton fields. Ain't that about it? That thing. Oh man, I forgot all about that fucking wedding. Oh shit. Yep, that isn't that motherfuckers do some shit for that white woman magic.
Mm,
And I just be like I be baffled because I'm trying to figure. I've never met a white woman whose vagina was that great.
yeah,
But you
me
know
neither.
what? I mean, let me ask you this because I'm in in the professional sector as well, and I've seen my frat brothers we call it the snowplow, but we do you see a lot of brothers really checking for white women like they say on YouTube?
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, it's a section of dudes out here who only go for white women, and it's kind of embarrassing sometimes. Uh, like for a prime example, I have two siblings, right? Or two younger siblings that are of dating age anyway. They only go for white women. So I've never seen either one of them with a black girl. I've asked on multiple occasions, it's not happening. Um, got several cousins, none of them have white women. Um, I know quite a few, but then there's other dudes who I know who are into black women, and what I've noticed, and it's funny, is their standards are completely different. Dudes who are into black women, there's certain things you just have to accept. Children, for one, uh, attitude, dynamic of household environment, um, where the ones who date the white women, they don't play the baby mama game. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it just depends on probably where you come from and what you're looking for. But a lot of the dudes I know don't settle for black women because they not with the bullshit.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't, and I'm in California, and we do have some snowplow dudes, but for the most part, I don't see that many men just going that crazy. Even their own white men don't be checking for these white chicks anymore for some reason, which makes them a
Well,
little
that's
bit
the
more
feminist
thirsty.
dynamic. They're looking for the Asians. That's just a lot of the white dudes out here
Yeah.
going for Asian women. And you have some dudes who, mess with black women or Latina, but they're going buck wild for Asian women right now in a real way. Uh, there's a lot of the dudes that I know that are messing with white women. They're messing with these Taylor Swift fat ass white women who wear yoga pants. They got cheeks.
That sound like Santa Monica and San Diego, that's
Yeah, in San Diego, it's real prevalent. Everybody I know in like in the hood is out here with white women. Like, nigga, where did you even find this white woman? Like
they
this
got the
woman
co-
ain't
they got the they
where
got the
did this person?
cornrows too.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
this white woman ain't living no damn Lincoln Park. Where did you go get her? Oh yeah, we had to go out to Claremont Mesa. Nah, nigga, sit down.
I'm like, wow, yeah, they put in work, man. But I'm gonna head on out, y'all, and I appreciate the conversation with the brothers, you know, and I was hoping you came through, Donnie, because we were talking about overseas marriage. So
Oh, the dynamic with the overseas, that shit is funny to me.
yeah, we were talking about the
It's
marriage part because nobody talks about
it
marriage.
if dude in my opinion, if dudes go get them a woman who is from like a third like a legitimate third world country, you should be moving there. You shouldn't go
Yeah,
and import her and bring her back because it's the whole Eddie Murphy Bush bitch conversation.
yeah, we were talking about that, and well, I'll probably do a part two. I don't know. But
Well,
yeah,
I'm up
man.
for it. Let me know.
Okay. All right, y'all. So let me go ahead and get ready for tomorrow because I got two places I gotta go. God dang it. All right. I was up here cooking for them, so I'm not even gonna eat, but I was cooking for you. I heard the sizzling. So
Well, word though, man. Thanks for coming through once again, man. Appreciate you offering your input. Very insightful as usual.
well, appreciate your
Oh yeah,
platform and the
I'm
brothers
sure
that come
do.
up here, man. I'm glad to see everybody here got a mustache. All right. All
All right. Peace out, brother.
Don't trust a
right,
nigga
peace
with
to
no
you.
mustache. All right. So Kev, y'all was talking about that marrying it overseas, huh?
No, we no. I mean, we weren't. No, I think he was talking about more like his panel. No,
Oh,
we.
on his panel. Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't see it
yeah,
then.
his panel. He said he was going. He said he was going to do a part two, and he wanted to invite you to come through because you have very much experience traveling abroad.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
man.
think
I
that shit
wish
is
I
funny.
wish I could do that, man. Cause
Don't you didn't you pay you paid off the child support or what?
hell no. Man, I ain't gonna lie though. But shit, man. They trying basically this is what they're gonna do. I already know what they're trying to do. Oh my gosh, look at that faggoty ass. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not muted. Ooh, well, uh, they gonna get me. Man, that threw me off when I drove by these crazy ass motherfuckers. But no, they're gonna get me on that. I think what they're gonna try to do, they're trying to get my property. That's really what they're trying to get. I know that they, because I didn't even realize, the daughter I ain't never seen, she's 15 now,
Oh damn.
I didn't even realize it, man, that long, so technically, I know her mama would never, would never turn off because, that's the last one that's owned there. And then after that, but shit, man, they owe me. I remember they owe me credit for like 90 stacks now. I looked at the total the other day. It was like almost 90,000 they owe me credit on. So technically, I should owe a lot less, but they owe me about 90,000. Think about it, somebody owe you 90 grand.
Good Lord.
I mean, that's type hitman type of money, man. But this the problem here. They ain't gonna. This is the thing. I would just be like, I don't need no money from them. Just call it even, and we can walk away. But it was like they so in their mind, adamant in their mind for her to just be like, yeah, no, I would never admit that this is the truth because they would swear up and down that I would try to fuck them. And I would tell her, I said, think about it, I ain't fucked with you and left you alone during all this time, and I'm pretty sure you still claiming him all those years that he was with me. I mean, like literally, just give an example. I wanted to say that's tax fraud right there. But they would never do that to a female. I mean, like y'all want to put motherfuckers in jail. Imagine all these frauds that should be in jail for that, just PPP loans. That literally, there's not enough jails already for that.
Well,
There's not enough.
From what I hear,
They ain't gonna do that. They gonna give them a slap on the wrist because this is the problem. They never enact laws. Listen, I understand they're going after them. They never enact laws that incarcerate women. They don't do that. They don't. I mean, think about it. If this law would currently incarcerate like 60 to 70% of the people they gonna catch is women, they'll find some way to make it a slap on the wrist or give them time served or give them at home. They're not going to make a law that makes it for women will go to jail for that. They wouldn't do it. It would never be enforced. See, that's the problem. If you really look at, because I mean, plain and simple, think about it with the student loan fraud. The women been doing that for fucking years. There should be so many women in jail for that. Like, what do? You sign up for classes, and at the end, you go down there and cancel the classes. The schools will cut you a check, and you keep the money. I mean, they've been doing that for years. You would think that there would be plenty of you would be like, oh, I know a chick that went to jail for that. Nobody knows nobody. You don't go. That's what women do.
What was you saying,
They
Kev?
don't put them in jail for that.
Oh yeah, we got a new person on the panel. What's up, Snake Man?
What is good? What is good?
You got the snake charmer.
Yeah, what's going on?
Not much. Actually, just being happy because I have a new milestone behind me. That means more money for me. Finally, and I'm just happy.
Oh, okay.
Cobra Kai.
Congratulations. Glad to hear that black man is furthering himself. So what are your thoughts on the topic?
This is a pro-blackness topic. I mean, as an outsider, I have not much to say. The only thing I have to say is what exactly is pro-blackness, and that is a serious question because I'm sometimes confused. Is pro-blackness really something separate from America?
Well, pro-blackness is something that has been endowed in Western culture, I would say. Donnie was saying that every time there's something pro-black, it is associated with negativity, and I do believe that I know what that I know what he's talking about, because whenever you hear something of being black, it always is something of a stereotype. I kind of defined it as a point of affirmation, kind of to reassure yourself that you are when you act out, you are acting out of your own blackness. basically it's kind of a bastardization of sorts, uh, saying that I'm this way because I'm black, or making an association based on skin color and origin. Um,
I think you didn't understand me. Like when I act, and I act not only in my interest, I act in the interest of my family, and in some extension, it's the interest of my tribe. That means I'm here in Germany doesn't mean much for me. It does just mean I make money, but I have no problem with it to cripple or burn down the system around me because it doesn't matter to me in the end.
mm,
That's mine. It's not what I mean with is it detached from America.
yeah. Yeah. When it comes to American Black, I would say it is a created identity, and what we did was we took. It almost seems as if we took the worst of everything, and I mean, which was a point that was made earlier in the conversation, and we associated with blackness. Saying like I would say, hood culture. I mean, Donnie, I don't know if you would agree with that. Was that more of what you were talking about? Uh,
I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. What was that now?
no, I was saying like whenever we associate something with blackness or pro-blackness, you were saying earlier that it seems as if it's associated with something negative or negativity. What I would say is probably something like hood culture. I mean, not to say that it's all bad with the hood or whatever, but hood culture is usually associated with negativity itself. So, was that where you kind of
Yeah,
were
I
leaning?
mean, typically, yeah, I mean the things associated with the hood, like you never hear pro-blackness and you associate it with some Yale scholar, right? You typically
Yeah.
think Hotep. You think the nigga on the side of the street selling you soap and incense. You think the nigga on the corner with the fez on telling you when you go to court, all you do is take this paperwork and let them know that you are a citizen al Kibbulan, therefore they have no jurisdiction. Like you don't it's never a positive thing. And the problem is there is no pro any other culture. There's no pro Jewish, there's no pro Mexican, there's no any of that. It's just the default setting. And we need to get away from having this dynamic of, oh, you're pro black. Because it's a negative dynamic. It just needs to be the default setting. The problem is when you have it be the default, or when it is considered quote unquote pro black, it's usually somebody running a scam or doing some kind of hustle. And typically those dudes are either stripped of power, so they're doing things to justify make a couple bucks, or they're coons with an agenda who's trying to move you into an area and do some coon shit. I mean, that's just really what it is. I mean, look at people like fuck, I feel like bad saying it, but Brother Polite, he's a scam artist. This is a man who is running behind you, telling you to give him money to do X, Y, Z, and he's gonna help you out on a pro-black agenda. He's a scam artist, right? That's just what it is. When you see these dudes who are on the side of the road and they're telling you that they're more citizens and they don't have the courts don't have jurisdiction and all this, you never hear of one of these dudes who've been to school, to legitimate law school, to who's done something with their life. Usually it's a nigga who's fresh out of jail and he's trying to make sense of why he went to jail. And it's never his fault. Therefore, it must be the rules and the system of government. So I've got to step outside the government, brother. Now, would you
Mm,
like to buy this bootleg CD?
mm,
So what I really now understood is that pro blackness is more like a hustle, more like a money making thing, and actually let's consolidate powers around us. Did I really understand that?
Typically, that's the image I get when you hear pro-black. It's a money making hustle. It's not just a dynamic of black people doing it for self.
mm. Yeah. It's more of to a point of grifting. Trying to invoke the emotions of people who are looking for, I would say, validation where they can't find value. Rogish explained it real good, when he was up here. Um, yeah, but listen up, fellas. Snake Man, I really hate to do this because you're just getting up here, but we're at near the 3 hour mark, so uh, I'm about to do closing statements. Then it's what tomorrow is. Well, I mean, you're not cultured into that, but me and Donnie are. We just gonna like eat some barbecue and pop some fireworks and not. I mean, and for me, it's just so I can pop some fireworks. I like
Oh,
seeing
nigga,
shit
I got
blow.
shrimp popping tomorrow. I got shrimp, lobster, crab. We getting it in tomorrow.
Yeah, but definitely thank you for joining. Just what you anything else that you have to say, Snake Man? As far as, I mean, I don't know how long you've been in, listening, but is there anything that you would like to say as far as the subject matter or just anything? What's up?
No, if you want to close, I would just say Happy 4th of July. Do not burn your house down because of the firework, and use normal coal for your grill. Don't
Oh
use
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. All right. Well, appreciate that. What about you, Donnie? Weather got me about to talking about y'all
Listen,
eating the white man seafood.
yo, that nigga's a heathen, my brother, my brother. Listen here, what you need to understand is I have my own brand of seafood. See, what I do is I go out on the river with black boats, and I go into these streams and these lakes and these in the ocean, and I catch with black nets. You ain't never had seafood as good as mine. Now, it may cost 4 times the amount, but it's delectable and it is black owned. All you got to do is buy this CD here, and the CD will get you the information. Now, once you buy that CD, it's only $9.99. It'll link you to my website. You sign up there, there's only $4.99. And every batch of shrimp you get comes with a free dashiki. No, listen, uh, I think we need to get rid of the term pro black. Because at a certain point it's just disparaging. Like you hear motherfuckers say pro black, you get offended. I don't care who you are. And it's a shitty thing. Same thing with Hotep, right? Hotep used to not be that. I think we need to move away from these terms, and yeah, we need to start calling out these coons. There's a lot of coons out here, people doing anything for white acceptance, and they need to be called out. Aside from that, I ain't shit. You ain't shit for watching. Kev, wonderful show as usual. Long live the habitual line steppers, and I'm out.
Long live, long live. Yeah, and I'll close out by saying this: if pro-blackness was something tangible and it was meant to further us as a people or even as individuals, to where we can get to a better place in this Western society, then I would be all for it. If it were something that would give recognition to our intelligentsia, I would be for it. But it just seems to me like it's just at the end of the day, all pro-blackness is basically dick policing and playing to the emotion of people who cannot point out the bullshit. I would say so. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not saying don't be proud of who you are as far as your color goes. You can pretty much handle it the way you want to handle it, but don't let people force you into a way of thinking that will ultimately be your downfall. Even if they are using blackness to do that, which is it should be a very harsh social penalty for something like that. But in order for us to get to that way of thinking, we're gonna have to evolve somewhat. And it's like Donnie said, we're gonna have to let go of some of the bullshit. I totally agree with that. Uh, okay. But in closing, I will say thank you to the panelists that made this conversation 5, 10 times better than what my original intent actually was. I mean, you won't catch me admitting that too much, but they're always great guys, and they always give perspectives that I wouldn't, really haven't thought of, and that's what really needs to happen. We need to get together and have more intelligent conversations, and this space that that I mean, with any space it has shortcomings, but these it'll give usefulness to it, and that's not to say anything bad or to downplay any of the other content creators or that are in this space, but when it comes to conversation like these, they're very surprising, and I have an appreciation for them. So is that's what it is. Thank you to the chat. You're always good. Appreciate you guys especially, and for the cash apps and the super chats as well. Uh, Everybody's been great. But in closing, I'll say, long live the habitual line steppers and Kev we trust. Um, I'm gonna win, and when that happens, we all do. So peace out until the next time, and enjoy your Fourth of July if that's what you're into. If you're not, just enjoy another day, and hopefully you will get something good out of it. So till the next time.